And your boy Friday the Southern Band charges on the beat.
Tools of spoon to get your information. Tools of spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon registration.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, you will know. There's the children crying for starvation. Just to spoon. You want to get a news update, brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moreover, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon.
The people are induced. The fact that the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia will reduce himself to bribing, to sneaking into the juror, in the net, it speaks to the fact that the justice system needs reform.
Do you have pictures to attend before you?
Why the Solicitor General was removed from the proceeding? Why was the Solicitor General received from the proceedings? It is because he attempted criminalizing the process. It is because the Solicitor General decided to induce jurors. They criminalized the process. We didn't expect different results. We did not come here expecting different results. We are cognizant of the fact that the entire system was bribed. Yes. They bribed the entire system. I came to the court and knew the result because the fact that the Solicitor General made an attempt to incognitely visit the juror, it speaks to the fact that the entire process was compromised. So it's not a strange thing. It's not a strange thing. But we're going to the Supreme Court who allowed the type of kangaroo process. Nobody's going to allow a process that was characterized by bribery. Nobody's going to allow a process that was characterized by bribery. The Solicitor General said need to be debarred. The Bar Association, the fact that a solicitor, it tells you how criminal the regime was. Those people were bribed. Those people, the entire group were bribed. The entire group was bribed. Which group? The entire group. Let me tell you. The jurors were tampered with. The jurors were the fact that you.
Alison, welcome to Spoon TV.
Thank you.
You were in the bench, you sat on the case, you listened to everything, and majority of the jurors came down with Joseph. What's the thing?
Well, it tells me simply that the jurors were not interested in the facts of the case. My impression is that their minds were already made up as to what they were going to do. But this is not the end of it. We, in the next 5 days, we're going to file a motion for new trial. And I'm confident that this verdict will not stand before the Supreme Court.
You are former Chief Justice. What this means to you when it comes to dispensing of justice?
Well, it means that, dispensing of justice is not just the court's business. You see the ordinary citizens who sat on the case, the jurors, and they heard all the inconsistencies in the case, and yet, in fact, they were not even taking notes. All the technical things that were being said, they were not concerned. They were not focused. So, but like I said, our consolation is that this verdict cannot stand before the Supreme Court, our highest court. They're complete rubbish. People were not even paying attention to the evidence. Apparently, their minds were already made up.
So you are still optimistic that when you go to the Supreme Court, you'll win it?
I am very optimistic. You don't bring down somebody for murder on the kind of evidence that the prosecution produced.
Your colleagues seem to be downhearted walking away to the subject.
Of course, nobody will be downhearted. If you were convicted of murder, you will not be downhearted.
Will you follow up from Musu Hub just part of the verdict?
If I follow up,
will you follow up to talk to her, that you are taking a appeal to the Supreme Court?
Oh yeah, not now. First, the procedure is that we have filed a motion for new trial. That's what we intend to do. And after that, of course, we'll announce appeal to the Supreme Court.
Here as well to a Bureau of Corrections van that you see right here at the grounds of the Temple of Justice. You see Councillor Gloria Scott, former Chief Justice, former Justice Minister of the Republic of Liberia, is being escorted there in the van, and she's being heavily guarded by state security as she makes her way back to the South Beach, or the here as well to
compensation for employees. C. Grants.
a Bureau of Corrections van that you see right here at the grounds of the Temple of Justice. You see Councillor Gloria Scott, former Chief Justice, former Justice Minister of the Republic of Liberia, is being escorted there in the van, and she's being heavily guarded by state security as she makes her way back to the South Beach. Or
the people are induced. The fact that the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia will reduce himself to bribing, to sneaking into the juror, in the net, it speaks to the fact that the justice system needs reform. Why the Solicitor General was removed from the proceeding? Why was the Solicitor General received from the proceeding? It is because he attempted criminalizing the process. It is because the Solicitor General decided to induce jurors. They criminalize the process. We didn't expect different results. We did not come here expecting different results. We are cognizant of the fact that the entire system was bribed. Yes. They bribed the entire system. I came to the court and knew the result because they thought that the Solicitor General made an attempt to incognitely visit the juror. It speaks to the fact that the entire process was compromised. So it's not a strange thing. It's not a strange thing. But we're going to the Supreme Court who allow the type of kangaroo process. Nobody's going to allow a process that was characterized by bribery. Nobody's going to allow a process that was characterized by bribery. The Solicitor General needs to be debarred. The Bar Association, the fact that a solicitor, it tells you how criminal the regime was. Those people were bribed. Those people, the entire group were bribed. Okay? The entire group was bribed. Which group? The entire group. Let me tell you. The jurors were tampered with. The jurors were the fact that you.
Alison, welcome to Spoon TV.
Thank you.
You were in the bench, you sat on the case, you listened to everything, and majority of the juror came down with local freedom. What's your take?
Well, it tells me simply that the jurors were not interested in the facts of the case. My impression is that their minds were already made up as to what they were going to do. But this is not the end of it. In the next 5 days, we're going to file a motion for new trial. And I'm confident that this verdict will not stand before the Supreme Court.
You are former Chief Justice. What this mean to you when it comes to dispensing of justice?
Well, it means that, dispensing of justice is not just the court's business. You see the ordinary citizens who sat on the case, the jurors, and they tried all the inconsistencies in the case, and yet, in fact, they were not even taking notes. All the technical things that were being said, they were not concerned. They were not focused. So, but like I said, our consolation is that this verdict cannot stand before the Supreme Court, our highest court. They're complete rubbish. People were not even paying attention to the evidence. Apparently, their minds were already made up.
So you are still optimistic that when you go to the Supreme Court, you'll win the case?
I am very optimistic. You don't bring down somebody for murder on the kind of evidence that the prosecution produced.
Your colleagues seem to be downhearted walking on our way to the subject.
Of course, nobody will be downhearted. If you were convicted of murder, you.
The recent designation's IES strategy to disorganize the CDC while the incoming government struggles to find its daring, defend a powerful, experienced, and knowledgeable CDC from mounting the PSS political opposition. I will also observe that this is a fundamental impediment to the conduct of foreign policy in the country and against the government that has shown nothing but commitment to the stated foreign policy objectives and interests of the United States. President Weah has advised his cabinet that the larger calculus of foreign policy considerations impinging on American interests, he stands with the American people. Liberia has sided with all resolutions against China, against Russia, and even when the rest of Africa took a different position. Most recently, in the United Nations resolution to end war in the Gaza Strip, which would bring peace and end the killing and suffering of Palestinians, Liberia stood with America to say no to ending war. Despite this support, we still see the dismantling of the CDC. To a panel in the United States describing what would eventually be a visa restriction imposed by the U.S. State Department. The glow of my morning transformed into a gloom of a pitch black evening. And this information had finally succeeded. This was my initial reaction. I could only feel sorrow for my wife and darling little children.
$500,000. Energy and environment sector, $3 billion. CLSG allocation, $3 billion. Infrastructure and basic services sector, a total of $27,434,980. On the infrastructure and basic services sector, we have construction of roads and bridges, $3 billion. Government of Liberia roads obligation, secret, $2,740,824. The National Road Fund, $41,820,106. Conclusion. President Pro Tempore, members of the Liberian Senate, because the submission of this financial instrument coincides with a period of changeover in administration, I urge you to expeditiously deliver it for timely consideration and passage of this budget into law to enable my successor to have a auspicious beginning of his administration. Kind regards. Sincerely, George Manuel Weah Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia, in charge. The budget. The President.
Alison, welcome to Spoon TV.
Thank you.
You were in the bench, you sat on the case, you listened to everything, and majority of it you came down with guilty verdict. What's your take?
Well, it tells me simply that the jurors were not interested in the facts of the case. My impression is that their minds were already made up as to what they were going to do. But this is not the end of it. We, in the next 5 days, we're going to file a motion for new trial. And I'm confident that this verdict will not stand before the Supreme Court.
You are former Chief Justice. What this means to you when it comes to dispensing of justice?
Well, it means that, dispensing of justice is not just the court's business. You see the ordinary citizens who sat on the case, the jurors, and they heard all the inconsistencies in the case, and yet, in fact, they were not even taking notes. All the technical things that were being said, they were not concerned. They were not focused. So, but like I said, our consolation is that this verdict cannot stand before the Supreme Court, our highest court. They're complete rubbish. People were not even paying attention to the evidence. Apparently, their minds were already made up.
So you are still optimistic that when you go to the Supreme Court, you'll win the case?
I am very optimistic. You don't bring down somebody for murder on the kind of evidence that the prosecution produced.
Your colleagues seem to be downhearted walking our way to the subject.
But of course, nobody will be downhearted. If you were convicted of murder, you will not be downhearted.
Will you follow up to pursue her just part of the verdict?
If I follow her,
will you follow up to talk to her, that you are taking a appeal to the Supreme Court?
Oh yeah, not now. First, the procedure is that
The people already. The people are induced. The fact that the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia will reduce himself to bribing, to sneaking into the juror, in the net, it speaks to the fact that the justice system needs reform. Why the Solicitor General was removed from the proceeding? Why was the Solicitor General received from the proceeding? It is because he attempted criminalizing the process. It is because the Solicitor General decided to induce jurors. They criminalized the process. We didn't expect different result. We did not come here expecting different result. We are cognizant of the fact that the entire system was bribed. Yes. They bribed the entire system. I came to the court and knew the result because they thought that the Solicitor General made an attempt to incognitely visit the juror. It speaks to the fact that the entire process was compromised. So it's not a strange thing. It's not a strange thing. But we're going to the Supreme Court who allowed the type of kangaroo process. Nobody's going to allow a process that was characterized by bribery. Nobody's going to allow a process that was characterized by bribery. The Solicitor General needs to be debarred. The Bar Association, the fact that a solicitor, it tells you how criminal the regime was. Those people were bribed. Those people, the entire group were bribed. Okay? The entire group was bribed. Which group? The entire group. Let me tell you. The jurors were tampered with. The jurors were the fact that you.
Last week on Friday, December 8th, and yesterday on December 11th, the United States government sanctioned several officials using the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act and authorities under Section 7031C for visa restrictions. Calling out corruption and human rights abuse is a Biden administration foreign policy priority that is advanced globally. In these most recent cases, the designations are the result of the officials' individual actions and not those of a political party or the country itself. For those individuals who have been sanctioned by the U.S. Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Acts Control under Global Magnitsky, they and their families will no longer be able to utilize the U.S. banking system, and they and their families will have a lifetime ban on visiting the United States. You can read more about these individual cases on the U.S. Treasury OFAC website. For those sanctioned by the U.S. Department of State under Section 7031C, they and their families will have a lifelong ban from entering the United States. 7031C provides that in cases where the Secretary of State has credible information that foreign officials have been involved in significant corruption or a gross violation of human rights, those individuals and immediate family members are ineligible for entry into the United States. Instead of focusing on these individual cases, as the information is now public and published online, I want to speak to you about corruption and its impact on your life and what you can do about it. I hear from my own employees and those Liberians I have met during my time here who tell me that their salary supports not only themselves and their children, but also their extended family members who are unemployed. They grumble about paying taxes. They know it's a necessity, but ask, where is the money going? Corruption doesn't only affect your life today, but threatens your family's future. The world.
Show those people, we start by making sure those people that we bring to cabinet are people of integrity. And secondly, want to make sure that even beginning with myself, we'll declare our assets and want to make sure that this is well known, the purpose of coming to government to know that it's public service. And if you are not ready to serve the public, you can go elsewhere. But we want to make sure that we start on a clear note that the people of our country stood on line, they protected the votes, not to bring a team again that will do the same thing that the other people are doing or worse. So it's a clear message, declare your asset, make sure that we are prepared to audit the outgoing government so that they tell the Liberian people of their stewardship, and to make sure that we start on a footing where people know that they come to serve the public and not themselves. If they don't understand that, they actually fall where it may.
Mr. President-elect, you talked about asset declaration starting from yourself and the people who work with you, as well as the outgoing administration. How do you plan to avoid the semblance of targeting people? Because some people will say these are politically motivated to tarnish their reputation or to go against them, people from certain tribes or specific parts of the country. How do you plan to avoid this?
We are aware of that. And when we talk about auditing, it's not going to be a Liberian auditing. We want to make sure that our international partners work with us for a public tender, for competent and renowned auditing firm that will be qualified at an international level to make sure they come on board to do that. We are aware of people saying witch hunting, but I don't think it's witch hunting when you have to account for your stewardship, but it has to be done in a way that is well established, entity with reputation, to make sure that it audits and make sure that it reports to the public the findings.
Sometimes people say that politicians make lofty promises when they are campaigning, but when it gets to governance, it becomes different. What will be different? Assuming allies of yours, family members of yours, or people who are close to you, family members, are accused of corruption during your administration, Mr. President-elect, how do you plan to tackle this specifically?
I'm not coming new to government.
Right.
Although in different positions, I ran a public corporation that was credible. And I can tell you that I come to work not with friendship. I have friends, but there is a clear line of demarcation between friendship, family, and managing. With the experience that we come to a country that celebrates 176 years, and with the life of our people living below the poverty line, I don't think we come into government again to start talking about family, to start talking about, I think we come there to make sure that we give the Liberian people hope, and I'm committed to that.
During the campaigning, you talked a lot about the country's youth, who are the majority of the population. Yes. Mr. President-elect, we know majority of them are unemployed, which some people say is a danger to the country's stability and peace. What plans do you have for the people of Liberia, especially the youth, in terms of job creation, in terms of having faith in moving the country forward? What do you have for them?
We came with a mantra that talked about, first we have a platform, and then we have an brief platform that talks about arrest, meaning agriculture, roads, the rule of law, education, sanitation, and tourism. We believe these are areas in which we can jumpstart. And in those areas, we believe that our young people who are in the majority, they need to be equipped. We need to open opportunities for them to be trained and be marketable. We also have to make sure that the quality of education that will prepare them for the job market. But to do this, we have to be able to impress our partners and investors, the private sector investors, to make them feel that we are here for business, and this business, their investment will impact the young people, but the young people need to be trained. And we know that there are things that we can jumpstart that could bring the relief to the public. Like I have said, there are, in an outgoing government, there are a lot of areas in which we can begin to alleviate the suffering of the people. We're going to examine those areas, like where we know that the prices of commodities, essential commodities like rice and things, where we know that there have been some tariffs that we can work with right away, the petroleum products and some of these things. We want to do those things that I will begin to alleviate. But I have said that in the first 100 days, no car will get stuck in the mud. That means these critical road conditions, we lessen them, because once you improve the road, the travel, the prices of commodities, all of that have reflected. On the job market, we're going to be very cautious because people have a lot of expectations in government, but in government, we have to know what we're inheriting, and that's what the transition team is working with. I come with a knowledge and with experience and a commitment to make Liberia a different country, a country in which the young people, our women, will know that it is time for them to be relieved, and we come to make them know that, yes, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but we come with a serious commitment to make sure that we make life easier for them.
You talked about the women.
Yes.
Any plans for women empowerment in Liberia?
Very much so. And, I have worked with women. When I was vice president of Liberia, one of the areas in which a lot of my first few months were utilized were with the marketing association. I worked with them until we got them organized, until we got money to create a real LMA that will become independent. That's why you see that the government, with all their muscling, they can tamper with them. We made sure that there was a law firm that put together their constitution to protect them, that we provided money for them to get a business entity that put them together to teach them some business. And those areas where mostly women control. Beside that, we intend to bring on board women, capable women. And I want to say, we don't want any token relation. We want people who are competent and capable and deserve the positions they get. Gender issues have always been issues close to my heart. And women involvement, we want to make sure that that is ensured. But I can tell you, the Liberians do understand where we're coming from. We want to make them know, we build a confidence that, yes, rescue is here, relief is here, but we have to move it at a level that we don't give any false assurances to anybody.
Let's look at the health system in Liberia. You mentioned it during your campaign. A lot of people say it's either non-existent or, Liberians would have to go to neighboring countries or even, southern part of the continent to go seek for medical attention. Mr. President-elect, How do you plan to tackle this? Because it's a serious issue.
I have worked with the health sector when I was in government, and you will see that we have Jamali, where now they do, people can go and do their examinations instead of going to Ghana. We have in mind to increase more of that on a regional basis to make sure that people can go somewhere instead of coming all the way Monrovia to check there. A lot of people say the person just sat down and died. People don't just sit down and die. But that there will be possibilities that people will know at an early stage the condition of their health. Besides that, we want to open opportunities for all our hospitals and clinics to be functional. And when I say functional, there's a belief in a country that once you build a building, it's a clinic. But once you build a building, it's a school. We want to make those things real. That when we build a hospital, it has the right people, and those people will be paid. The nurses, people, all who are responsible will be looked after. Because even those who look after people, they themselves need to be looked after.
But
we want to make them function.
That costs a lot of money. How do you plan to finance it?
It costs money. But let me tell you, Liberia is not working. Everything that we are doing, there have been a lot of work put in the health sector. How should it function? What we need in Liberia is implementation. We're not beginning as a new country. Everything is on paper. What we need is to make sure that we function according to those guidelines that have been set up. We implement those things that have been documented, the experience over the years. And I want to believe that we are not in there alone. There are partners who are anxious to see a government that is committed to make sure that these things function and that they are willing to work with us. Even as at now, we have made a lot of contracts already for medical supplies. I have been to Arizona, Project Q, they've given a container load of medical supplies. But we have to make sure that these things reach their proper destination, not ministers opening their private clinics, not people standing there along the way. So we are aware, and the system is in place. We have to implement what we said.
Mr. President, like you talked about Liberians taking Liberia back to where it should be. What do you mean by that? And how do you plan to do that?
Well, we say where it should be because everybody remembers the good old Liberia, but we have to understand that the good old Liberia had not always been the good old Liberia for all Liberians. So taking it back means that there are some things that we're working right that we need to, but we need to go further than that. Population has increased. Take Monrovia, for example. When it used to be 350,000 people, now it's over 1.5 million. And you know the social services are not there. We haven't coped with the social services. We have to make sure that we go back to where we were when things were good, but we have to see that situation of
Yes, I, a special one from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band, charges on the beat.
To the spoon to get your information. To the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television.
Tune to spoon to get all of the information. Tune to spoon to get to know what's happening in the ministries, the agencies across the country, to get authentic information about all of the happenings in Liberia. This is where we get to dish Liberia Liberia's very best. And I'd like to say welcome to the program again. My name is Nelson Colette. This is the late night show, the late night politics on Spoon. We are here again with another fascinating edition of the program. I want to say thanks to all of you joining us tonight. We're set to give you a great show. This is one edition of the late night show that you don't want to miss. Get glued to your radio, get glued to your television set, recharge your battery, charge your data and everything, because we are about to take off. I'd like to say welcome again to the program tonight. We're live on Spoon TV, we're live on Super TV, we're live on YouTube, Spoon Talk Live. We're also live on Spoon FM 107.5, Fabric 101.1, Super 95.5, and other radio stations across the country. So again, welcome to the program tonight. Lots of things to talk about, so many things happening in Liberia, and we are going to make some critical analysis of those issues here tonight. So again, welcome to the show. If you just coming on, if you just joined us, please kindly share the program as we get ready to talk about those issues that matters a whole lot. So the first thing is we're going to throw a little bit of light on Ambassador Barkai's interview, the president-elect's interview with the Voice of America. Lots of things he talked about. He hit on some pressing national issues. We will make some analysis around that. And yes, today there was a ruling. A ruling was handed down into a landmark case. I like to put it that way. A case involving Councillor Gloria Scott. So Councillor Gloria Scott, former Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, former Justice Minister of the Republic of Liberia, the former senator, she versus the Republic of Liberia. There was a jury trial in that case, and of course, a guilty verdict was handed down from Criminal Code A against Councillor Gloria Scott today, that took her back to the South Beach. It was a very emotional scene today. We're going to talk about that as well. And we have the son of Councillor Gloria Scott, Noah Scott, that has agreed to appear on the show tonight to share his thoughts about the ruling today and some other issues he's going to talk about here. All that coming up on our plate here for discussion, plus a lot we have to talk about. So with no time to waste, let me go across and start to bring in the guys. I see our co-moderator, Moba Zokat, is on. He's in the background. Moba, welcome to the show. It's good to have you. You're muted, Moba.
You hear me?
Okay, great. You have a good audio now. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you.
Thanks, Nelson. Thanks.
Moba, what's going on? Did you squeeze yourself in one corner or what?
No, I'm moving it like the camera and stuff. So.
Yeah, so it's always good to rotate the camera.
Yeah, no.
Is it a phone you're using?
I think you sent it on YouTube, right? The link is opening only on YouTube on Facebook. That's why I open it on YouTube. So.
Yeah, listen, regardless of where you're accessing the link from, you just have to rotate your camera, turn the camera like this, and once you do that, yes. Okay, very good. There you have it. So you gotta pay. No, listen. Before you go any further, you will pay for the extra knowledge you've gained today. This extra service I provided for you. You pay some fees, consulting fee you're gonna be paying here tonight for this extra knowledge. I think Francis will have to pay similar fees because some time ago he was facing similar problem and I had to tell him the same thing. Alfred will have to pay similar fees. I don't know, and the rest of the guys coming on. But it's good to have you on tonight. I think we have a very good setup here for you now, Moba. Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is good. Yeah. So it's good to have you on. Let's go across and bring in the rest of the guys. Francis was the first here tonight. Raymond came in later. He went off. But Francis, I want to say welcome, man. It's good to have you on the show tonight.
Thank you, Nelson. Good morning. Good evening, Moba. How you guys doing?
I'm good, brother. How yourself?
Can't complain, man. Thank God.
Great. It's a great one. Let me bring Alfred in. Alfred, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Nelson. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Alfred, please don't start that with us. Your audio is not welcoming at all. We are welcoming our folks, but your audio is not welcoming. That
What
audio
you talking
needs
about, Nancy? What you mean
your
my
audio.
audio not good?
Your audio is bad. You sound it's coming in like the old time audio. You know that else in radio. You know where the person talking radio, but just to say standing way behind her talking. You know, it's
It's
sounding
okay
far.
now.
I don't know what to say.
Man, you
Okay,
rotating your camera is not going to
Listen,
change your
yeah,
audio.
that's what I was about to say. It's not about rotating your camera, Alfred. It's just about
Every day Alfred get warm my phone. How you get problem with
and
audio?
this is Alfred who was once on Maggie's back.
You
Maggie
make it
was
warm my phone.
the audio. But today is Alfred's, yeah,
We
you
tell the
know,
man
but
to go get iPhone or Samsung. Go get Walmart there. So it will get hot all the time.
yeah. But again, our brother will be back on, and
The man
it's a
coming
good
for me.
here. I'm very sure that he's gonna come for you. He is come for you. But again, it's a good thing that we're here. No time to waste. I'd like us to move straight into our discussion. Just the other day, we were talking about um, this. We had this hypothetical case, question thrown out as to what if JMB comes up and say that he's not auditing, what will you do? First of all, let me apologize to our folks that due to some technical issues beyond our control, we couldn't come on last evening. And yes, thanks to all of you who reached out. We appreciate you. And yeah, so we're here tonight to cover up and make sure that we give you a great show. So we were talking about the possibilities. Assuming Ambassador Barkai came up and said that, look, looking at this thing, we have to reconcile the country. We're not auditing or what have you, and let's move on. Let's get the country moving on. What will you do? And lots of people expressed their views. It was so interesting what people had to say with respect to that. But there's a whole different version of it. It's as if Ambassador Barkai thought to speak to that issue, but yet it happened coincidentally when he had an interview with the VOA, the Voice of America, and he addressed a range of national issues, and that happened to be one of the very issues that he started the interview with, and then talking about the issue of asset declaration, the issue of asset declaration. Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai, the president. Sorry, I keep saying vice president. We'll get used to that.
President-elect.
The president-elect of the Republic of Liberia. Yes, so he took off this whole thing with this asset declaration audit, and even the kind of people who will be appointed into government, who will be brought on board. And when he said that he will ensure that officials of government declare their asset before getting into government, and this is by law. This is by law. This is what officials of government are supposed to do. But the irony of this whole thing is that the people going into government or already in government who themselves should be respecter of this law, some of them, a good number of them, have not been operating within the confines of that particular law, talking about the code of conduct for public officials, especially for those in the executive branch of government. So it goes that those officials, the ministers, directors, all those appointed by the president according to the code of conduct should declare their asset before entering government. And when they enter government, in the case, yeah, in the case, yeah, in the 5.1 of the code of conduct, in the case where you were promoted, let's say you were appointed as some director somewhere, and then you were promoted to a higher rank, maybe you became a minister at another entity, maybe like the way the reshuffle goes on and stuff like that. When you are promoted from one point to another, you should equally declare how much you have as an asset as you are going to that next position. And then when you're leaving government, you should also declare how much is it that you are leaving government with. And of course, all of those things were laid out with respect to how people should go about, how officials of government should conduct themselves in the spirit of transparency, good governance, and all of those things. The laws were crafted. But over the time, it has been a major issue in our country where officials of government find it very difficult to just move on and declare their assets. Senator Abraham Darius Dillon scored some good political points on that when he took the bold step and told the Liberian people how much exactly he had in his account. And everyone made fun of it, but it turned out to be a very good start for Senator Dillon. So the president-elect took off this entire interview by talking about asset declaration. He's going to ensure that people entering into government, they will declare the asset, including him. He's going to declare his asset. How much is he entering into government with? Or should I say, he's re-entering government now in a different capacity this time around as president. He's going to declare his asset, how much he's entering with. He spoke to the issue that has to do with audit. He said that he's going to make sure that people will be audited. When asked as to how do you distinguish the actual audit from that of what appears to be a witch hunt, then he responded by saying that they're going to make sure that well-accredited international firms will be able to come into the picture, and he showed that those who serve in the outgoing administration, they will be audited, they will be made to account for their stewardship of everything that were entrusted into their care, and a lot more he spoke of. Well, he spoke on an issue that has to do with nepotism, friendship, and everything. He said he's not going to government with friendship. No, he has friends, he has family members and other people, but when it comes to the job, he's going there to serve, and that's what it's going to be. He spoke to the issue of giving the Liberian people hope. He spoke of empowering the young people, and not just giving them job from the very start, but rather making sure that those young people are trained, giving them the requisite skills required to have them functions in different capacities. And he spoke of how investment, the young people will get to benefit from the different investment opportunities that will come to the country. He spoke of health. He spoke of the 100 days deliverables again. In that interview, he said in the first 100 days, he's going to make sure that nobody, no vehicle, not a single car will get stuck in the mud in the first 100 days of his administration. He spoke of key commodities in the country. He says the prices of major commodities in the country will get to improve because they're going to ensure that, be it through taxes or whatever means, they're going to ensure that the prices of those key commodities like rice and other things, they're going to revisit, try to work around things to ensure that the prices of those commodities are stable, that Liberians can, every single Liberian, regardless of status, you can be able to afford at least a meal for yourself and your family. And the whole lot he spoke of, I want us to make some analysis around Ambassador Barkais, the president-elect, his speech, his interview with the Voice of America. Some of the things he said, some of which there has been some speculations around, but he was able to address those issues in that very important interview. With no time to waste, I'd like us to make the rounds quickly. I see our folks are already here. Josh, welcome to the show. Konowa, welcome to the show. Alfred, thanks for being here. Our brother Vakabinet Toure, welcome to the program tonight. It's good to have you on, brother.
Am I good now, brother? Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good.
Your warm-up phone working good now, at least.
I came to Raymond when I said, Raymond, please.
Send me your address. I will send a phone to you so you can send me your iPhone 21. Like now.
No, my man. Don't distract us. We ain't get much time. Our.
Rema digging out your.
Hey, my brother, Alfred.
I'm digging out your shit big time, bro.
Raymond, the share is okay, but can you kindly remove the cap? Thank you. How you call that one? There's a name for it. It's escaping me.
Do I have to remove this as well?
Not really. But what's the name of that cap you took off? There's a name for it.
Escape from Sabibo.
No, man. They got
using that.
That's an apple jar.
Apple jar.
Okay, apple jar. That ever seen the people used to wear that thing, Raymond? Don't bring it a contemporary show here, man. Don't bring that 1930 apple jar on the kind of show here, Raymond. Don't do that to us. No wonder why the people say you look Nigerian. Yeah.
Men with class rock this.
Of course.
Men with class rock this.
This
not for boys. This for grown men.
I got multiples. Not one.
But guys, we have to move on. Gloria Scott will be joining us on the show. I want us to make some analysis around
you want to start from me?
Mama, don't jump the gun, Mama. Move on. Yeah. So I want us to kickstart the conversation now because we don't have much time here tonight. Let's start with you, Mama. You listen to Ambassador Bakai. You listen to the president-elect of the Republic of Liberia. That interview on the Voice of America. There are lots of issues he spoke of, he addressed. But I want you to just take 2 minutes. I want us to do 2 minutes each on this one, and then we can move on to the Councillor Gloria Musu Scott case. We'll talk to Nuwo Scott, the son of Councillor Gloria Musu Scott, and then we'll come back and make some analysis around that, and then we'll go to the line. So, Maba, please take 2 minutes on this speech. You don't have to test everything because I mean,
no. I just going to the point.
Hit the ground running with what you get
captured. But you see, Nelson, the last time when we came here. And the good thing about it, the president-elect listening to us, and he confirmed it today on VOA that he will audit the outgoing government and public the result to the Liberian people. Everybody will know. That's something that he will have as much he go on VOA, right? Voice of Africa, right?
Voice of America.
Okay. VOA, Voice of America. Thank you for the correction. When he went down there, all that thing he talked, like by telling the Liberian people, he will audit the government and he will make sure he will publish the result out on the media, the Liberian people all around. Everybody will know what's going on. To tell you that when we come on the platform to call on our president or our leader, they're listening to us. They just sit and watch all the judge we are for the past 6 years. He just sit as a dictator. When people tell him something, he get angry. He even move to do what he's supposed to do. It's not what JMB will be. That person say, oh, the man will be remote control. JMB will not be remote control. JMB will listen to your cry, and then he will look at your cry, and he make an analysis in our crying. And then he will look at the good, and he will look at the bad and work on the good. That's how leader does.
More about
so for us coming on, coming out. We go. I'm hitting the auditing because I know what you're talking about. Because when we came out last week, you said like it was an argument here, and we came out. We said that if I personally said that if JMB audit the part, they pass government, I will mobilize the 50 men that are getting to vote for him and campaign for him. I will mobilize them. They will go on the street to protest. I said it. And then when he went to VOA, it was like he listened to us. So look, the Liberian people that all they wanted to hear.
Yeah, so just a quick information. That interview was conducted, I think the same time we had that conversation. About the same time we had the conversation. That was
but I in the net, right? And I wanted the next day, right?
No, it was about the same time. So you remember?
But it was not released the same day. It was
certainly
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Nelson, listen now. You remember, right? All the time we've been discussing about auditing on the media. So probably he listened to even CEO said putting fire behind the scene, auditing issue. And when we come here, we say the same thing. It's like a son. So the public understand it. So being, like, and I know my brother from the CDC will always complain that it's a witch hunt. Nobody wishing on nobody. We're not wishing on nobody.
No. And this is the point I was coming to, Moba. Is
Mm-hmm.
it possible? And the president-elect was asked this question as to how do you distinguish an actual audit from what appears to be a witch hunt? And he said he's going to have international firms that will come into the picture, accredited international firms to get involved with the process. But Moba, again, let me ask you this question: Is there any possibility of carrying on an audit that doesn't appear to be witch hunt?
I think so. No, next thing, look, let me tell you. You see the people who went to school for.
You want to be all the way a bit, Moba?
Yeah. Okay, you getting me? Okay, you getting me?
Yeah. Okay, great.
All right, let me tell you, right? You see, auditing, nursing, every job, everywhere people do auditing. Auditing is not a witch hunt. Look, the thing is simple. A lot of government officials today went into power, they never declared their assets, number one.
Mm-hmm.
That was a major problem. Everybody know, none of them. The only person I remember declared an asset before they entered the government was Darrell Dillon. That was the only person. They said George declared asset, but he never published it, which of course was a lie. He never declared asset. So how we will know that the money he was having when he get into power and the one he having? So that's where you will see people, when the people come in, they will make their own background investigation. So it's not a witch hunt. How much George made after when he left the soccer game? When he went into politics, when he was a peace ambassador, how much you are making? When he went in the Senate, how much he was making? The people will try to calculate. And when he entered the presidency, how much the president making per year, per month? How much? Calculate and then make your math and they pat down everything. Make your math and do your subtraction.
Now,
and
Moba,
then you will know.
When you listen to this particular portion of Ambassador Barkai's interview,
we start by making sure those people that we bring to cabinet are people of integrity. And secondly, want to make sure that even beginning with myself, we'll declare our assets and want to make sure that this is well known, the purpose of coming to.
Okay, so he is saying, Moba, that beginning with him, all right, he's going to make sure that starting from him, all other persons entering government would then have to declare their asset. And that people entering government will have to be people of integrity, individuals who come with integrity, not just qualification, but people who have integrity.
Yes. Yo, Nelson, look, that's the reason why we came on the platform every day before election to make sure we elect the man. Because listen to our leader speaking. He said, we, he take himself on it. He said, we will declare our assets, including him, to tell the Liberian people how much he get in his account before coming to power. And all his cabinet minister. That's how government works. So tomorrow when they're leaving, right, the incoming government that will come, or the auditing will be easier to do the audit. But Georgia government never did that because they understand their mind, they came with, is to loot.
Thank you.
Loot. That's all. And we, like, I'm very excited. I'm so excited. JMB is coming to transform that Liberia. I'm so excited. I don't even know what to do. Just I can sleep some, I eat some. I can't worry again, my man. I'm so excited.
Thanks a lot, Moba. Let's hold you there and take Amy. Amy, it's good to have you on the show today. I guess you've listened to that interview, or you've watched the interview. Lots of things the president-elect addressed in that interview. He spoke of the audit. He spoke of working, as a president, putting aside friendship, putting aside this whole thing about family and what have you, making sure that people who are employed or who will be employed in his government will be people who have the requisite skill set, to perform in the given task or in the given positions or what have you. Now let's talk about this whole aspect that has to do with he not employing friends or family or drawing that thin line between friends or family or what have you. Is he picking up pieces from anywhere, maybe previous administration or what have you? What do you think triggered this particular aspect of the
I mean, you want to reduce your TV, the feedback is bad.
Feedback is bad.
we're
Who's
getting a
TV?
okay.
Who got
I mean,
TV?
you got TV on? No, okay. I don't think
I
it's
don't
from
know.
Emmy.
I think it was from somebody else. I don't know.
Okay, so let's just mute. Let's all mute so as to avoid these kinds of feedbacks because it's terrible. Okay. Okay. All right, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Emmy. Let's hear you.
So, the whole thing about friends and family, I think yes, he kind of getting that from the past, the outgoing government. We've seen that the president had so many friends of his in the government that was just doing whatever, whenever, and he couldn't change them. He couldn't do anything with them. He kept them there, and they kept doing whatever they wanted to do along with him, his close friends and stuff like that. So, and that he also want to, I guess he hearing people saying that, oh, these same people that were in the UP, Manhattan government, they're the same old people around him, and people talking about his children and all of that. So I guess he's trying to make that clear, or make that distinction that don't get it twisted. I'm not the JMB that you think will be pulled by the nose or pulled around because you're my friend, because you're my family or whatever. When it comes to that, we will talk about it. But when it comes to doing the Liberian people's job, there should be a thin line. I mean, a line that you cannot cross and you can cross. So that is not the same with me and my family. I would know the line with my family and know the line with my friends. So I think he's trying to reassure the Liberian people, because ever since he won this presidency, it's been a lot of rumors going around. Oh, he won't do this, he won't do that. It was just campaign talk. And what I saw in an interview or what I heard, it was the same old GMB, like he's still on the campaign trail, like saying exactly what he was saying on the trail. That makes me, believe him more, because he's not running to win election anymore. And whatever he was saying on the campaign trail is what he's still saying even after he won the elections. So I think like I said before, congratulations, Liberian people. I think by the grace of God, we made a right choice this time around. And we just can't wait to see what JMB will do. And we're praying for him to see it happen.
Now he spoke of putting Liberia back to where Liberia supposed to be or where it used to be.
Right.
From your own analysis of things, has anything changed? Has the country's image or the country's position or performance-wise in any sector, has things deteriorated to any level for which he's making this comment? And do you see the possibility of the kind of change he's talking about?
Well, back then, during Remnant's days, Liberia was very Remnant's like, why me all the time? During Remnant's days.
Remember, you're distracting us with your upper jamming. You gotta remove that thing, Raymond. We have a rule on the show, Raymond. Go ahead, Emmy.
How is he distracting you? Stop being a hitter.
It's distracting.
But like I was saying, during Remnant days, Liberia was I wouldn't know, but I heard Liberia was very, it was on the right track. It was everything, like even in the region, everybody considered Liberia at the time to be small America. Everybody wanted to come to Liberia and better their lives. They wanted to come to Liberia and see things happen. But since the war, and then it has just been the opposite. Places that used to come to see Liberia look like small America, now we are going to them. When it comes to healthcare, when it comes to education, infrastructure, everything, we're going to those people now. So I think that's where GMBS is at. When he talking about roads, he talk about education, he talk about all the infrastructure and something there like that, to put them back. He's not going to do everything This is what we want people to know about. But at least he gonna start something. Like the government before the CDC government. Madam Eddie wasn't no superstar. She did her own a bad thing. They had corruption or whatever, but they had system in place. They did things. They were running like a responsible government, responsible looting government. Okay, it wasn't like the other people that came in and it was just wild wild west in the whole country. So I mean, we want to see that back on track, things being put in place, and the next government before GMB could come and extend on that to go at it or not breaking it all the way down to make it look like we just came back from war. That's the country GMB is inheriting now. The country looks like that we just, I guess, 1990 war. It's just ended. That's what the country looks like now, and that's that he's trying to add up from there and try to bring Liberia's back when he says that. Try to build Liberia back, and he said it. He said this country and our people has suffered a lot.
Yeah.
And it's about time in my administration. I want to show a different Liberia.
Thank you.
GMB. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I mean, now let's move to Francis. Francis, when you heard or listened to the president-elect talk about the issue of empowering or providing opportunities for young people to be trained, and then later they can come back to benefit from the investment opportunities that will be provided. I mean, what comes to your mind? This is a country we're talking about that has a population of over 60% of its population being young people. Now, with this particular statement from the president-elect talking about young people acquiring the requisite skill set and all of that, investment opportunities and the training for those young people. Francis, when you hear this from Ambassador Boakai, what comes to your mind? What sort of Liberia, what sort of atmosphere do you see for the young people, especially with respect to this era of training opportunity in the first maybe 1 year of the Unity Party leadership?
I mean, for me, I'm always big on education. I mean,
okay.
So, but I don't think he expanded. He went far enough in discussing that. The other day, hearing him talk about training, but I think it's good. It's good for the country because one, if you're talking about training the young folks to prepare them for the job market, that means private sector jobs are going to boom in the country because government should not be the leading employer in any country that wants to be successful. Government should not be the leading employer. So we should hope that there will be a private sector boom, a job boom in the country, so that all those young men and women that will go to trade training or graduate from the university and high school and things like that will be able to have jobs to pay their bills and take care of their families and things like that. But I was hoping that maybe he went further down, but primary education. I was hoping that they would really focus on primary education because a lot of our brothers and sisters at a 12th grade level reading, some of them reading, most of them reading at a 9th grade level and 9th grade reading at a 6th grade level. So we have to make sure that primary education, because that's a right of every citizen.
Yeah.
That's the right of every citizen to have quality primary education. So
now, I want us to look at this pattern, right? The category of young people that the president-elect was talking about here, just listening to his responses to that question, it will suggest to you that he's talking about people who are of age, young people maybe around 17, 18, 19, 20, up to 30, thereabout. That it will suggest to you that these are the kinds of people that he was talking about. But again, you want to go back a little, Francis, you want to go back a little to look at this pattern. In the outgoing administration, we saw a pattern where, yes, don't get me wrong, a lot of young people were trained, right? But we saw a pattern where many young people were empowered. They were some young people were empowered. They were given a job to do, for example, serving as maybe assistant minister, in some of those places, while they were advancing themselves. All right. So it's empowerment and then education, empowerment and education moving hand in hand. But this format or this pattern would suggest to someone that it's education first before empowerment. What can you say to that?
But okay, but we I just mentioned the same thing. Government should not be the leading employer in the country. So when you talk about a lot of these young folks were given position as assistant minister while furthering their education, that's not what I want to be. Okay, for example, in the U.S., right?
Okay.
Even the garbage collector makes money. Now, all right? This is some form of government work. But just look at the type of jobs. You can go to McDonald's, a kid that is in high school, can have a vacation job at McDonald's, or even when they graduate. There are parents right now that work at McDonald's, Burger King, and even Home Depot, or building supply stores, grocery stores that are able to pay their bills from those private jobs, those small businesses.
Okay.
And those small businesses always drive the economy, because the more small businesses are developed and they are prospering, the better the economy becomes. So we should try to change the way things are set up in Liberia to create more private sector jobs. And when there are private sector jobs and people are able to earn money, then you find these very same people buying land and building. And when you buy land to build, you are not a builder, you hire contractors.
Let me come back with this. We're going to move to George next, then we'll come to Toure, then we take Raymond, then we take Alfred. But let's come back on this, Francis. Whether private or public sector, right? Whether private or public sector. In Liberia, there's a saying that goes that dry meat sweet, but waiting will be eaten until the meat gets dry. I think you know about that. So we are talking about employment, job opportunity, and training. Acquiring the requisite skill set all at the same time. Now, the young people in that category, some of them would need to have their hands on something while they're acquiring the skill set for whichever opportunity or investment, be it in the private or public sector. And that's where I'm coming from with this, Francis.
Yes, I can't what you say, Nelson, but in my belief, we need to take that whole system and put it in the trash can. Because that's how we get stuck. That's how we get stuck talking about, dry meat sweet will be eaten until the meat get dry. When we know people before us, they didn't even build the fire or the smoker for us to even put the meat on it to dry. So the next person that coming, that they gotta build a smoker before the next person go and hunt, before they catch the meat, they clean, they can put on the smoker. No, we know this thing's been happening for a long time. We should not focus. We should do it by force, because people ain't got no time to waste. JMB government is going to set the foundation. No more time to delay. Say, let him come and put the meat on the smoker to get dry. No.
Okay, finally on this one. Finally on this one, Francis. Take, for example, a young man who is maybe 25, 26, 27. This young man is very young, but at that stage, he already has a family. All right? Now, you want to empower this man. You want to make sure that he acquired the requisite skill set or what have you. But then, how does he go about doing that? I mean, like, how does he continue on taking care of his responsibility while he's acquiring this skill set? How do we try to maybe blend the two or work on it so as to have the two fitting in? Because I tell you what.
That's exactly my point, Nelson. There are a little over 5 million people in Liberia, and more than half of those people, that's 60 or 70% of those people, are young men and women. So government cannot hire all those people to prepare for training. That's why we need to act like we have no time to waste by coming in with serious leadership like JMB is talking about, and we are going to hold him into it to make sure that these people have jobs. Because if everybody's waiting for government to hire them to be able to get money, that's what's happening today, that the civil servants not getting paid. So Christmas is canceled in Liberia. You see? So we can't wait for the government anymore. Christmas is canceled for the average Liberian. Because if you don't have a job, there's no private sector job. The few people that work in government are supposed to bring a little thing to come and buy something for the market women. Then the market women go buy a cherry Christmas clothes. If those people are not taking pay, the government not paying them, then what do they take money from to go buy for the market women, for the market women to go buy a cherry clothes? It's a ripple effect. So essentially, Christmas cancel. So that's why we need to focus on the private sector. There are jobs, there are positions in government today that need to be eliminated. You have assistant to the assistant. In some ministry, you have assistant to the assistant. What job are you doing as an assistant to the assistant?
The assistant to the assistant is assisting the assistant.
Okay, cut that assistant.
That's the
and
reason
put him
why-
on one side.
After you're not interrupt, the assistant, listen.
The assistant, Elijah Howard told her today that civil servants are taking pay.
No, listen. The assistant to the assistant, listen, let's do this, guys. The assistant to the assistant needs to assist the assistant. You know, and that's how maybe this pattern, maybe this is how you create more job opportunities. But
that's why government payroll is just part of government payroll is just big like this when it's supposed to be like this. Government's supposed to be the smartest employer in every country. The private sector should be the biggest employer because that's where people with competent skills can go and say, I worth this amount in the private sector and you pay me what I'm worth. But you go to government to serve. You don't go there to get rich and pile up your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and everybody on payroll calling deputy assistant to the assistant. For what?
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Now let's hear from Josh. We're going to come to Toure next and then Raymond. Josh, when you listen to the president-elect, he addressed the issue that has to do with audit, talking about the need, how important it is to audit so that those who steer the affairs of the country, those who are entrusted with national coffers can be able to account for their stewardship. He also spoke of the issue where he's going to take the lead in making sure that he declared his assets and all others coming in government will be people of integrity. When you hear this from the president-elect George, what kind of Liberia do you see beginning January 22, 2024?
Look, thank you, Nelson, and thank you to those listening and my fellow panelists. Look, I listened to the interview and I was very enthused. The way he spoke, I felt that he looked believable. However, talk is cheap. We're looking forward to seeing those things implemented because we know where he talked about his family members or friendship different from management. I like that because I studied management as well. The thing is that when you look at what he said, it makes a lot of sense because if you put friendship and familyship into the same shape as management, you mess everything up because you have your family members coming to you to tell you what your friends have done, and you will not want to take action because they are your friends, and then your family will start going around doing their own thing, and you cannot talk as well because they are your family. So it was credible to me, you know. I felt a little bit enthused by what he said, but we all know these things. We know what politicians are made of. They talk. When it comes to where implementation should happen, they lack.
Now, you say he looks believable. He looks believable from the way the president-elect sat in this studio and presented the issue, making the case for Liberia. You say that he looks believable. Very much.
Government to know that it's public service. And if can go elsewhere. But we want to make sure that we start on a clear note that the people of our country stood on line, they protected the votes, not to bring a team again that will do the same thing that other people are doing or worse. So it's a clear message, declare your asset, make sure that we are prepared to audit the outgoing government so that they tell the Liberian people of their stewardship, and to make sure that we start on the footing where people know that they come to serve the public and not themselves.
Okay, so Josh, you are telling us that from what you see here, from the presentation of the president-elect, he looks believable. But again, you look forward to seeing the implementation. Though you think what he's saying is achievable, is possible, all at the same time.
Look, Nelson, look, I do not think it's achievable in our context. The Liberian context or the Liberian society is a complex one, unlike any other society you find around the world, because we are a small, neat little group of people, and implementing high level of policies that squeezes people together, right? Is usually pushed back on. You know what I mean? I think what he's saying, while it sounds good, like most of us here who are familiar with soccer, you see the team sheet can be very good. You know what I mean? You say, but then they get it 5-0. But when they get on the field, something else happens, right? I think those things that he's saying, they are quite good to the ears. And it's incredible the way he said it. I felt that this was his best interview ever. And I think implementing those things is where the problem will be.
Josh, analyzing the body language, the facial expression, and everything. Do you see if a president-elect that is passionate about what he's saying here? Do you see a president-elect that is very intentional about what he's saying here?
Look, they're saying I will give it to him. I think he sounded very motivated. Not that he was not animated, you know what I mean? But he was motivated in what he said. It's someone who you would think that they mean what they're saying. But like what I said, and I will continue to say this, saying anything, Nelson, we all have good resolution for the new year, 2023, right? Some of us were going to travel to different countries to do different things, right? And the year is, got a few more days to the end, and we did not accomplish those things. That did not mean we were not good intention or we're not motivated. It's just sometimes the implementation does not work the way you plan it.
Okay,
so I think that it's not workable in the Liberian context. He would do his best, and I hope look, fingers crossed, and this is not against anyone. I really hope he succeeds, because if he succeeds, it'll be harder for the CDC to come back. But if he doesn't succeed, then you'll see us back.
Okay, so you are a CDC guy. You said you're going to be critical. You're going to, but Josh, let's end with you on this note. Then we're going to move to Raymond. Raymond, you got to that we won't see that apple jar on the show yet, man. Raymond, don't do that to us. We have to respect our rule here on the show, Raymond.
Put a man in the bag. Put a man in the bag. You have said it too many times.
Nelson,
let me come back. No, I'm not here. No, but we have
rule on the show. My face. I need to keep my hair warm, Nelson. I got my hair cut, so I need to wear it because I need to keep my hair warm.
Come on, Raymond. That's
against this isn't covering my foot.
But listen, let me come back to you, Josh. Let me come back to you. There's a portion where he said, in the first 100 days of his administration, not a single car will get stuck in the mud. He said that during the campaign period, he said that throughout the campaign, he said that after election, and again during this interview with the VOA, the president-elect again re-emphasized that. He reinforced that point, that in the first 100 days of his administration, not a single car will get stuck in the mud. Josh, is that achievable in the Liberian society?
Look, I think that is achievable, judging from the fact that the first 100 days in his presidency will be dry season. Cars usually apply the rule from wherever to Plebo, where I come from.
Look, Josh,
And that was a clever attempt by him and his team to just blindfold the Liberian people, to use that, to get into their, into their hearts. And I think that was clever. But here's the thing. And Nelson, here's the thing. It is simple and easy in a rainy season to have cars not stalking on the road, except people with decoys by themselves and put their cars there. That which is just unlikely. But what I think is that what you should go a little bit further by saying that our roads will be pliable throughout from 100 days from my inauguration. I think that would be better.
Within the 100 days,
and going forward, maybe let him name August and July. You know what I mean? Those are the months.
No, listen, Moba. Don't start that. Don't start that.
Never pay welcome about it. People don't get Christmas.
Please, guys, let's not do that. We have our guest is in the background already, and we need to very shortly. So, Josh, thank you. I think you made your point. Let's hear from you, Raymond, quickly.
You're welcome.
Okay, Raymond is on the phone. Let's take Tariq. Tariq, go ahead.
No, I'm here. Can you get me? I'm here.
Yeah, but Raymond, you are moving against our rule on the show. You want to get the kind of how the other guys use, but that's an apple jar, man. We're gonna pardon you for tonight.
I flip it to the back and
on the show.
I flip it to the back and the presentation is the same part like everybody. My face isn't.
Let me go lower my bag for my own too.
I'm
because it's cold here. This place is cold for no reason.
And look, it's a cool weather here, so I can't expose my head to the cool weather. Nelson, you gotta understand. The rules.
We gotta talk about that business, Nelson.
We're gonna pardon you for tonight, but it's actually against our rule. There's a kind of cap we accept on the show. This is not one of those. That 1980 we accepting on the show. This is a contemporary show, and we only use But go ahead, make a point on the president-elect speech. Then we take the last two persons and take our guests in the background.
So before I go further, I give it to my brother Josh, and I expect to have critical voices. We can't all be praise singers, and we should critique things with objectivity. And I think my brother George was quite objective tonight. He's someone I admire. I think he's an astute gentleman, except sometimes he gets blinded by love. And it's all natural. We're humans. We all get carried away sometimes. But I think my brother spoke well today, and because of that, bro, my hat's off to you.
But where you guys coming from with this? Listen, guys. I'm putting all of you with this cap in the back right now, and we'll continue on the show. Raymond, when your head is okay, when your place get warm, you can come back and continue.
In the prison for no reason.
For no reason. You made a point. There was no point.
Raymond.
Yeah, Raymond, go ahead.
Nelson, because you're Gen Z doesn't mean you can rock things that are old and good. I mean, gold is old as time, and gold stay good. So Nelson, learn to appreciate old good things.
Thank you, sir. I will try. We'll manage with that. So, let's hear you on this, Raymond. Lots of things the president-elect spoke of. You want to pick a point and just move with it.
So, Nelson, what I heard today, I heard a leader who has deep understanding of leadership, what we've been lacking as a country for a prolonged time. I see a leader who understands the issues, who's willing to bring about effective and a reasonable government, a responsible government that is efficient and effective, and who has a strategy, who has a vision, who knows the issues and is willing to resolve those issues to ensure that the living condition of the Liberian people is improved. And everything he ever said didn't come overnight. He has all of these on his platform, the pillars. He was only outlining them for us in a little clearer perspective today. And I think that's going to transform our country. But there's a thin line in having a good plan and an implementation. And like my brother George said today, that our issue had not been having good plans, but having the right thing. And he emphasized on that, not allowing friends and family members to influence things. And what he's even begun by doing an audit and asset declaration. You look to see in our low Liberian talk, if your Christmas will be good, go from the eve. If you're ever going to be successful, you got to start the ground running from day one. And I think that's the plan he has. We have to embrace the audit. We have to know what's happened. We have to use the old map to plot the new one. And we will learn all those lessons and we'll implement better strategies to improve. And I think all that he spoke about, even contributing to the human capacity development, especially the young people, the young minds. You know, my brother helped the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf led government to improve young people, especially talented young people. There was a program that Ellen launched called the President Young Professional Program, which my brother headed. That contributed to a lot of young people today. They're not stuck up in government and in private sector. Some of them are out of the country. But all those young people who went through that program, life improved. None of them laying around sitting somewhere asking people for hands out. All of them are contributing and helping our country to develop in ways that one could not even understand that would be the results. Country like Japan lack any natural resources, but because of human capacity development, Japan today is one of the contributors to the world. Toyota, Nissan, Honda, Sony, Panasonic, and even the robotic arm in outer space today are used to repair and do other things. Carry out surgery more accurate than the human hands. That's Japan. That's a very small country, an island country. So
And you think, so now let's move to the area of there's a portion where he spoke of commodity prices. You are aware that rice is the country's staple food, and we have had our own ups and downs due to the fluctuation in the price of rice and other basic commodities in the country. He spoke of coming up with methods or with strategies that will help reduce or address this issue of the fluctuation in the prices of basic commodities in the country. He said whether by reducing the tariffs or what have you, but they're going to come up with strategies. Now, if you go back to not just this government, but even the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration, where the president-elect served as vice president, they had some issues with these, especially talking about the basic commodities. Rice, for example, the price of gasoline rose from $280 or $285 under the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. It rose to up to $350, $365. That's where that administration left it. Under this administration, it increased from around that bill, from around $365. Now a price of gasoline in Liberia is at 880 Liberian dollars. Now you tell me, I know there are other factors that are playing out from the international scenes and all of those different things, but when he spoke of addressing the issues that have to do with the fluctuation in these prices of basic commodities in the country, is this something that is easily achievable, considering the fact that it has been an issue with two administrations before this incoming administration?
So Nelson, it's not easily achievable. Leadership is like a walk in the park. It's not one to play. It's frantic efforts to ensure that issues that are identified are resolved to improve the living condition of the citizenry. So it's not an easy task. but it yet achievable when you employ the right strategy and all the right resources. And he went out to lay out, having to bring on the right minds, having the right plans, the right programming, and the likes. So, yes, it's achievable, but it's not going to be easy, like even George said. And I agree with my brother today. It's not an easy feat, but it can be achievable with the right strategy, the right efforts. And like you talk about the Ellen-led government, right? That he was a part of. He learned the lessons. What went wrong? What's better? What can be improved? And right now, he's out of the country. Even before taking the seat, he's talking to people because he understands how these things work. Who can help? I will give you an example. The Japanese government have a program in Liberia called the Japanese Grand Fund. What did they have rice on our market using all of the various vendors who could import rice. They brought it to our country and gave it to them to sell. So you wouldn't give an excuse and say, we're out of rice, our ship is on sea, and now we're out of rice, so we're going to hike the price. Petroleum product. They brought it to the country and they sold it using the various vendors. And after you sold it, the money went into an account where they supported government with different projects. And so they use that to keep the price stable and to keep supply on the market so there won't be scarcity. So he understands that these things work. It's just a matter of talking to partners who are able to make these things work. And
Thank you.
put in terms of priority, put what is necessary in front and what is less necessary behind. Have a scale of preference. And I think that's what he intends to do. And for that, we can only commend and be very hopeful for the transformation that we all desire.
Thanks a lot. Let's hear from you, Toure, on this, and then we're gonna end up with Alfred.
Yeah. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to our viewers here in the United States and around the world. And to the panel, I just want to say thank you, man. Pleasure always to be on here with you guys. But yeah, Nelson, you said, was the president-elect intentional in some of his assertions?
Yeah.
Very, very much so. I mean, you can tell from his posture, you can tell from his deliberation, you can tell that he was not mixing his words. And I'm just piggyback off of where Raymond actually hit, because that was something that I really want to talk about. Always talk about experience being the best teacher. If you have experienced something, Nelson, is that you have is a unique and great opportunity for you to have a second go at it, right? The mayor of vice president for 12 unbroken years, right? You have seen it all, right? And besides, he had lived long enough to have seen a lot of government come and go. So all that is experience, okay? If you factor all of those things in, he understands the multiple complexities of the country. He understands some of our shortcomings and some of our gains. And for a man, it takes a man with so much integrity to come out publicly and criticize himself. All right? That should count for something. That should mean something. This guy came out and said, yes, we had numerous opportunities. And yes, indeed, we squandered some of them. All right? Look, if anybody who don't have that moral gratitude to come up publicly and self-critique, I'll believe anything that man say moving forward. Because it takes a man with so much, or a man or woman with so much to come out and just criticize, him or herself in public. Right? You saw him sitting there. And people talk about witch hunt. This is something that we've been running with. Nelson, you actually carry on an entire show about the prospect of what people might consider, when in case we try to do how do you call this thing? Accountability or something like that. It might turn it to be witch hunt. And that's what the VP said. I don't think it is witch hunting. When you have to account for what was under your stewardship, I think any one of us here will agree that before we can take over anything, we want to know exactly what is there. I think that's fair. I think even George will agree, as an engineer, Josh, you know what I mean? Like, you will know exactly what is under your command. I think that's a fair thing. Any rational person will be able to understand that. If I were working as a grocery store as a cashier, and I'm taking over from the morning shift, you know, like I'm coming in on a second shift, I want to know exactly what is in the cash register. I want to know exactly what is in there. It is appropriate for me to know what is in there. It serves as accountability, right? So I want to know exactly what is in there. So this is what it is. You can't just take over a country and not know exactly what is in the coffers. All right. We saw that happening in a past government. Right?
20 seconds.
You can't do that again. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? We have to do these things, and the president-elect did not make it worse. When people say, oh, it will be considered as witch hunting, okay. This is not about Liberians doing this. We're going to bring professional people from the United States or anywhere part of the world. Let it come and do it for us. Before someone say, oh, you know, that man, that manual man doing anything here, or that Loma man, or that Bassa man, that Grebo man, that Kisi man. No. Let's bring wet man. Maybe we can get them from Australia, or we can get them from Switzerland, or what have you. Let it come and do a comprehensive audit report, right? Then that way, it will take all of us out of it, right? Because not saying that, oh, you know, because they men from the other village, they men from the other town, they men from the other region, blah, 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 that nonsense. So
but Ture, don't you think that will, in a way, that will be a form of maybe downplaying our professionals we already have here? You take, for example, when we had the issue with the mob or exercise, the 16 billion situation, we brought in Crow Associate. They came in and did their own stuff, but there was some Liberians, despite all the calls, oh, we need independent how do you call it, or how do you call them, auditors or whatever. But there were people who saw the whole idea of bringing Crow to carry on that investigation to be a way of downplaying the professionals that we already had in the country. How about that?
Nelson, let me tell you this, brother. Liberia is not at that point yet. I don't care how. I mean, look, I'm not trying to downplay our professional though.
Okay.
There's this stigma that's in our country. I don't care how you can profess your professional skills, right? And try to do your best. Look at the auditor and that. Don't you think those people are already, like, you know, doing professional work? And you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, look, our country, we know very well we got a lot of structural issues and a lot of stuff, right? But there's still decent people among us. Make no mistake about that. There are still people in that country that are eating what is duly to them, right? And they are not corrupt, right? We know these people. We know some of them. We know their stories, right? But Nelson, for you to actually eliminate all these wahala, all these prospect of people saying there's a witch hunt, this have absolute no basic, no merit, blah, blah, blah. Because when the Crohn's guy came here from Philadelphia, right? When it went down there, they did a report. They came out with a very well elaborate report.
Yes. On a second, just to wrap up.
Everything was in there that, in fact, right? They said that they don't know if money was missing, but in their report they said that money was given in places that could not be you know, like accounted for, right? That was in the report, right? But they did not say actually no money went missing, blah blah blah. But they said businesses were giving money, and some of these businesses were not accounted for, right?
I'll be verified.
Huh?
They are receiving verified accounted for receiving.
So at the end of the day, the people went there, the people did that thing. And then there's the thing. If we should move forward as a country, we have to be able to understand that our country, we are not there yet.
Thank you.
The level of politics that we use in everything that we do, including religion and everything, we have to definitely exercise the patience to bring some international expertise.
Thank you, Ture. I'm out of patience now. Thank you, Ture. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Let's take Alfred finally. Then we bring Mr. Scott in.
I hope you will give me the length of time that you gave everybody on the show tonight.
Who is everybody?
Yeah. Let's say thank you.
By the name of everybody.
Thank you first for giving me the opportunity to be here. It's a privilege. When I listen to President-elect Joe Boakai, actually the physical Joe Boakai disappear, and I see Lee Kuan Yew. He speaks like Lee Kuan Yew. For those of us who don't know who Lee Kuan Yew is the first prime minister of Singapore.
And somebody just sent me a message and said you resemble Lee Kuan Yew tonight.
And Lee Kuan Yew took over a country that was heavily overcrowded, corrupt, and the British people left that country corrupt, and it was upside down. It took a man like Lee Kuan Yew to be able to put things in place. And when I listened to Joe Boakai, all the things he was saying, he was speaking to Lee Kuan Yew. Look, this is why Lee Kuan Yew said, a nation is not great by its size, but rather it is great by the quality of its leader. That nation should have a stamina. That nation should have the political will. So if you have a man like Joseph Yuma Boakai who have lived enough to understand how government works, he continues to tell you that his government will be different. That he's not only going to be appointing people to position of power, but they should have quality. They should have people with integrity. So you can rest assured that those of us who supported Joseph Boakai, in a not too distant future, you will start to see the trickle-down effect of the quality of the decision that Joe Boakai will make. And one of those things that he already started to talk about is the issue of asset declaration. We will declare our assets, and everybody will know where we stand when we come to the government, so that the issue of audit will not be compromised. We will do our best to bring the right people to be able to do this audit so that we can know where we are as a government. So you can rest assured, Joseph Boakai is the right man for this country. And what we need to do right now as a people is to keep praying for him, that the good Lord will give him the strength and the courage to carry on. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being precise today, my brother.
So tonight, Nelson, you are muted. So tonight, we're talking about Lee Kuan Yew.
And immediately when the guy spoke of Lee Kuan Yew, somebody just texted me and said, and the man resemble Lee Kuan Yew tonight. Can anybody send me the photo of Lee Kuan Yew? Because I want to compare the two photos to see how possible is that. But again,
Nelson, that's a thing called influence. When something influences you a lot, and you bear certain philosophies, you adapt to it, and sometimes, that's what when couples, even when they fall in love.
That's an apple story. You don't bring that apple jazz. That else in 19-something apple story. We're not listening to it. But again, I want to say thanks to everyone. We want to transition now. Liberia witnessed a landmark case today. A lot of you are aware, you've been following closely since the 22nd of February, the issue that has to do with the death of Charlotte Musu, a Liberian, a young lady, someone who was very promising. And since that incident occurred, Liberians have been following closely the proceedings. I was in conversation with some of our guys, specifically our judicial reporter, The guy assigned at the Temple of Justice, and he was saying that today marked the 116th trial or day in court of this since this thing started or so. And so it speaks volume. This is something that people have been very eager about because a case titled Councilor Gloria Musu's card versus the Republic of Liberia is a very huge one. And the personality involved is not just any other Liberian, it's not just any other councillor, but it's this woman, someone who served as the head of the judiciary branch of government, the Chief Justice, someone who served as senator and also justice minister. And so Liberians have been following closely. So today, the trial ended at Criminal Court A with a guilty verdict being brought down um, against Councilor Gloria Musu Scott. And a lot of you are aware that it was a jury trial. There were 15 jurors that were selected to go through the case since the very start. And aside from the testimonies provided, there were 36, 18, 18. Yes, that 36. That good math, eh? 18 plus 18. Yeah, 36. I'm not an engineer. But 18, according to what we gathered, 18 witnesses testified from both counsel, from both sides, both the defense and the prosecution. And the arguments provided by the both sides as well. And the jurors had to make a decision. Well, at the Temple of Justice today, when we went there, we saw that the judge, following the final arguments, 1 hour, 30 minutes each provided to both the defense and the prosecution to make the arguments. After the 3 hours of making the arguments, of the 15 jurors, 12 of the 15 jurors had to go and after being charged by the judge to make deliberation. Charge basically is like giving them an idea, since they are not legal practitioners, what to look up for, basically legal kind of advice or what have you. And they went. So of the 15 jurors, 12 had to deliberate, while 3 of the 15 jurors were reserved. And so the reason of reserving them is that, so just in case there's a tie where 12 or six jurors go this way and 6 jurors go this way, those 3 jurors will be able to break the tie. So they were reserved. So 12 jurors deliberated, and then it turned out that it was a unanimous verdict because 11 that's 11 of the jurors handed down a ruling against Councillor Scott, while one person pleaded not guilty, but that could not help the situation. So it ended up that Councillor Gloria Musu Scott today was then being escorted, and it all happened here. I'm trying to give the background just before we bring our brother, Mr. Scott, in. He's the son of Councillor Gloria Musu Scott. It all happened here at the Temple of Justice. There, that statue you see is the statue of justice. There's a club on its face because justice is supposed to be blind. It should not see color. It should not see race. It should not see age. It shouldn't see tribe, religion, or status, or what have you. And then it turned out that falling all of please mute. We're hearing everything you're telling your daughter. You're telling her to give you a bottle of wine. So a Bureau of Corrections vein that you see right here at the grounds of the Temple of Justice. You see Councillor Gloria Musu Scott, former Chief Justice, former Justice Minister of the Republic of Liberia, is being escorted there in the van, and she's being heavily guarded by state security as she makes her way back to the South Beach, or the there you have it. Following the ruling and the what have you at Criminal Code A, and then there were a few reactions. Let me bring this one shortly, and then
Welcome to Spoon TV.
Thank you.
You were in the
let me just hold it at that, folks. Sorry. Let's bring in our brother, Mr. Noah Scott. We thought to bring him on because throughout this process, we've been talking to him. He agreed to come on when we reached out to him to provide us with some updates. It's just important that we bring him on here again on the platform, so we get to hear from him, his own perspective, what this means for him, and what does he make of the ruling and all of that, given what transpired today. So let me say welcome to the show, Mr. Scott. It's good to have you on here. Thanks for agreeing to come on here tonight, and welcome to the late night show.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be on this show and having conversations with you all, and having to also speak to the people of the Republic of Liberia. So thank you very much.
Okay. Let me start with this. Not much to say from my end. Maybe the rest of the panelists will come in. Maybe if they have one question each. But this entire process, Liberians in and out of this country have followed closely from the very day when Councillor Gloria Musu Scott started to raise alarm about some attempts on her home, from attempts on the home to attempts to the card and all of that. When those alarms were blown, when she even appeared on a local radio station to claim the attention of state security that there were some attempts, Liberians started to follow from that very time up to Charles' death and even up to now. What's your take on this entire process, Mr. Scott?
Sure. So, as I've said before, multiple times, coming on your show and others, since day one has been unfair. Okay, I pointed out to a few things about from the very beginning, to my mother twice going to the police station and filing a police report saying, there was once, we even have that police report, that a police came to the house, looked at where that person might have come through the roof, and had that written and said, yeah, I can see that is true. She did file a police report. I mean, even the police admitted to it. So this entire process has been unfair, right? And forgive me at times, because I'm speaking from a place of, we're all humans. I have emotions, and at times it kicks in, because the overall thing is this: the victims are the ones that are being blamed for the crime, for the act. I mean, if you look at it from everywhere, from the amount of time they took to investigate my family, right? Multiple times, calling them to the police station, doing all type of silly. I think it was all stupid. They, from the very beginning. Well, I'll even go further back. Is their intentions were to murder my mother and probably all the other family members. In the midst of it, Chalo was killed, and since then, it's been not only was it an assassination attempt that happened, also both pathologists now, because when they brought the same individual back to say he had a rebuttal for our pathologist, he admitted and said, yes, when he did his DNA procedures, he did notice there was a male DNA, but to him, it wasn't critical to report it. So he held that information. Now, when our pathologist came and testified, he said the same thing, right? He said, yeah, there's a male DNA and it is not linked to anyone else in the house, right? Because if you have one DNA of one person, you can also check the DNA of every one of those individuals in which he did. So he says that male DNA, there is no match or relations. The connections from that DNA to say maybe there's somebody in the family or whatever. He reported that. So their rebuttal from their pathologist, I think the guy named is Coley or something, he came in and said he admitted to it, right? He said, yes. There was a few things he said, oh, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense here. It doesn't make sense there. But he confirmed that there was a male present. The jurors, since day one, or not day one, since we found out about the leading counselor going to the jurors overnight, engaging with them, which he admitted to, right? Or somewhat admitted to, because he said, yes, I went there multiple times. I only spoke to the guard and not the jurors. Like, nobody's stupid yet, you know? You were communicating, and from my opinion, and I think it's logical, any Liberian, regardless of what side you're on, right? If just use logic. Again, I always stress this gentleman, this lawyer, Counselor Nienti, has been practicing law longer than I've been alive. That is law 101, right? As a prosecutor, you do not go overnight to interact with the jurors. He bribed the jurors, or he might have threatened the jurors, my opinion, right? But what is a fact is he made contact with the jurors multiple times. They did an investigation. He confirmed he went there. He confirmed he went there, but he said every time he would go on site, he would only speak to the security. I mean, even if you need to speak to the security, right, you can make a phone call from wherever you are. You don't have to go in person to engage or whatever that they did. And so for me, I've always said that, and a few people have asked me, you know, do you believe in the justice system? You know, if you're saying that the whole thing is unfair, yes, we still believe. We still believe in the justice system, and it doesn't end here. The fight still continues. You know, the fight still continues. But this man was going on site, engaging with the jurors. And it was clear today that the jurors, I think one of you guys said it on the show, it might have been you, Nelson, didn't really fully understand the instructions from the judge, right? Because the whole purpose of what they were charged for is, okay, the prosecuting team can prove beyond reasonable doubt, right? So if they were following that rule, the prosecuting team said there were only women chromosome the first time. So then it was established there was male chromosome or male DNA. And their rebuttal of the other guy said, yeah, I did see that as well. Okay, when you're to do your job as an investigator, if you were to do your job and say, the goal is to charge the person who's responsible, wouldn't you go through the process of elimination and say, who DNA is this? Let's figure out what this is before we move forward with the charge, if your pathologist had already seen that. When I speak about how unfair it's been, that's one, and that's what happened. We knew we were going against the Republic of Liberia and those individuals that are still in power, and they're using the country's resources to influence, to harass, to threaten other people who are part of the case. Some people are participating. Those jurors, they have jobs in this administration, right? Family, whatever, who knows what the contact might have been and the threats. So, you know, we still believe we're going to file for a retrial. This judge, my opinion, I think he's also been compromised, from my opinion, because the challenges we faced with him is as if, the people who know and law will tell you, right? With cases like this, the burden of proof is on the prosecution. But the entire time it's been my family, us, fighting to show people we're innocent, and we prove that. There is a male DNA on the Chalo's finger, the fingernails. Their pathologist said that could have been the DNA of any male that entered the house or any male that came in contact with the body. The funny thing to that is, Chalo didn't have long fingernails. The DNA got under her fingernails because she was in a defensive struggle, fighting for her life. She engaged the attacker. Now, I think it's fair to say, right? Okay, there was a male present. So she engaged this person, and the DNA was under her fingernails. And that was confirmed. So, it's a battle. We're taking it as far as we're going to take it, and we're still believing in the justice system, the Republic of Liberia. And go ahead, sir.
Yes, I want to ask a question.
Okay. I just wanted you to learn on that point you were trying to make, and then we can take one or two questions from across the panel just before we let you go. Have you concluded on that?
Yeah, I concluded on that. I mean, I have some more. I mean, we can talk about, that was just one of it. The second thing that I wanted to touch on is, there was somebody on your show, I think it was a doctor, or she might have been on the earlier show, and she said she works in a mental health institution. And when our pathologist said that the strength, the muscle mass of a male to drive a weapon so deep into Chalo's body, right, which led to her dying, she said that because she worked in the mental health profession, at times people can look a certain way, but it can be far stronger than that. So and that's what she said. So using that to eliminate my family, she somewhat disagreed. Well, at least that's what the point she was trying to make, that she said, I will hold my comment or my judgment. I wanted to touch right specifically to that. The 4 people that were charged for Chalo's murder, if we're going to speak about the human performance, body, and strength, I love being logical, and I guess I learned this from my mother. The 4 people, now the 4 people, I just start from there. 3 of them were in their 50s, and the other one was 16-year-old girl. Chalo was in her mid-20s. If we're using logic, we'll say Chalo was the only person in that group that was at the peak human performance at the time as a mid-20. There is no way they would have engaged Chalo that Chalo would not have left them seriously injured. Facial injuries. There is no way. And I want to tell some people something about Chalo. Most of you now, or most of the people that have been following, they do not know the person Chalo as we know her as our family member. Chalo is quiet. She's easygoing, but she's fiery. She's gribble, true and true. She doesn't bother anybody. She's not going to pick a fight, but if you bring it to her, you will have problems. If you've seen Chalo in person, she was ripped from her pepe jaw, calf muscles to everything else. I'm saying that to say, with the person saying, well, my mother, who's far beyond her years, right, her younger years, have the strength to I mean, and just even the way the injury on the body happened, like with the number of injuries and those 4 individuals, I don't know were they holding her down and sharing the weapon? It just doesn't make any sense. But I wanted to touch on that. I just wanted to touch on that, and we just using logic, just logic. We have call logs. We have call logs of these people, the alleged, I don't even need to mention their names, because this fight is not over. But we have their call logs that they're communicating with our security or the person we thought was supposed to be there to protect us at the time. And those individuals went to court and lied, right? I mean, it's fact. Your call logs, we didn't get it from anywhere. We got the call logs from what the police turned in. So the phone number and everything else. But they all went out there in court and lied on the oath. Perjury. The judge let them go. Right? There's been so many things we've been dealing with, and we still, to this day, to this time, even as we feel right now, as emotional as we feel, we still believe in the justice system. And we are going to appeal, and then we'll go to the Supreme Court. We'll take it where we need to take it. My family, all 4 of them are innocent.
Thank you.
I think for this part, maybe I'll take a pause and see if someone want to chat.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Let's take one question each. I see Alfred.
So
Okay, guys, let's do this. Let's take Mobile first. Mobile, go ahead.
Yeah, my question, during the trial, right? Did your lawyer request for any DNA to be done to compare the DNA that was reported from the scene, from the crime scene, like from the accuser, and let's say
from prosecution, right?
Yeah.
From both parties. Now, keep in mind when there was another thing I wanted to touch on. Thank you for the question. You brought something to mind, and then I will address it. The DNA, as the pathologist for the government went on the stand and said, "Oh, that's the DNA is." I don't know. He didn't think it was creditable. That came from a lab, right, in the United States. It went through a process. It went through some time. That lab is a well-trusted lab, even in the United States. So now to come back to respond to your question, no, we did not. But it was just it was less than 7 days ago when we presented that evidence to the court, right? At the time, the judge had already made it clear that this case will not go past Christmas, right? So he started to really push to get us to get to where we were going with our defense.
Yeah,
so.
Let me just do
Mobile, we have to stick to at least a question. Yeah. So let's have
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm coming. We'll come to you, Remo. Let's take Amy. Amy, go ahead.
Yeah, so Brother Scott, mine is more like, a comment. I'm so outraged right now, and I feel like my mother is going through something because for a state woman, this woman has served her country. She's a credible woman that everybody knows. And I just want you to know that this is not Liberia versus your family. Because every Liberian, apart from those people, knows that your mother is innocent.
Thank you.
So it is not Liberian versus your family. They may make it seem that way, but it's not. And then it was good that you brought out the fact that on shallow strength, because I was also thinking about that. I said, well, how can this girl in her youth, and I seen your aunts and your mother and I think your other cousin, they were walking. And I look, I'm like, are these the murderers? Like this girl sat there and these people stabbed her to death and she didn't even shake. It was kind of puzzling to me because I didn't believe it when I seen them, right? And I'm pretty sure every other Liberians are thinking that way as well. And it's so shameful. And I like your fighting spirit because even though she could have gotten a pattern from the next president coming in, but like you said before, this is not, my mother is innocent. Why would I want to settle for a pattern, right? I want to see I want to see the law, the justice system works. And I'm sorry, you say you have you believe in the justice system? I don't, because if it was that credible, all the things that you have named, from the DNA to the call logs to all these lies and stuff, different phone numbers being provided, that alone is a red flag. Okay, and the judge letting all of that to go through, I don't think so. I'm sorry. I know you want to sound diplomatic about it, but I don't trust in the justice system, and I hope and pray that as you go to the Supreme Court, you'll be able to get a fair trial next time. But this was BS. Everybody knows it. That's what I want to say.
Nelson, this is in the pew. I'm at the airport. I'm about to start boarding. So can I just speak to the issue before?
Okay, go ahead, Rima. Let's hear you.
Noah, my brother, you're strong.
Thank you, sir.
And I bless God for you.
Thank you.
And I spoke to a few of the panelists. I met Charlotte in person before. I did a construction in Brewerville.
Oh,
and my description of Charlotte to them, Charlotte was a calm person, but a very strong-willed person.
Right.
I interacted with her, and your description is excellent of her. You know her better than me. I just met her in passing, but I knew Charlotte. When I saw the photo that time when she got killed, and I remember interacting with her, it broke my heart. But again, this is a sad day not for your family alone, but for all Liberians. But all good, well-meaning Liberians. But we're now closer to the family as you are. So what you feel, we can't feel it. But it's a known thing in like our country, especially in our time and age, that our justice system I don't even have the word to describe it. But it's something far from anything called justice. That's a mockery of justice we're having in our country.
Thank you.
And everything is clear and glaring as daylight. But when people are bent on doing things, they will abuse power to any extent to achieve their goal.
Yes, sir.
Your family is a victim of terrible governance, and this case will forever be remembered. I guess those in law school will study this case. They will write multiple dissenting opinion on these things, and they will look at it from different perspectives. But what we can do as Liberians, and I want to use this to call all well-meaning Liberians to pray for the family.
Thank you.
Because what you're going through emotionally, we can only try to imagine, and we can only empathize, but we can't feel it to the extent. But there's a God. The God that rescued Liberia is the same God who's able to turn anything around. And I believe you should pursue this thing with an appeal or a retrial. Or even if it goes to the Supreme Court, there might just be some good-hearted people who want to side with justice. And our prayers can remove mountains. Thank you.
Thank you. May I just touch on something real quick, Nelson? From what I think Ramon said, I also forgot to add, we go through my mother's accolades, right, to her accomplishments, the positions she's held throughout the government, how she's contributed to her county and the people of Liberia. But there's another side of her that she at least at this point, she's not getting the full credit for it. I had said that previously on other shows, is the other way that she was giving back to the country. She was building and processing Liberia's future. Chalo was being processed to be a future leader for the country. Chalo had all the attributes as a leader. Now, when you think about it, and the video you just showed, Nelson, with them getting on the bus, AC is also going through that process. AC was a family member my mother also brought in the house, and it's taking her through making sure she gets the best education the country has to offer. Now she just graduated from high school while in jail, right? We still have goals, and my mother will still send her. Our family will, I will, all of us to the top schools, because this is how we give back to our family. This is how we give back to the country of Liberia. Because there will come a time that, Gloria Musu Scott will not be there to provide the service, and it will be up to us. It will be up to her next generations. And that's all she was doing with Chalo. Now we have AC, you have myself, and so many other family members that when we go through that household, education is top, being a leader is top, all of those things that I believe our country needs. And then they took away our family member, a shining star, and they're blaming it on my family.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Ture, I see your hand up, and then we'll take Josh.
Okay, guys, I beg to leave.
Okay.
Have a pleasant show.
I will join you guys later.
Where are you going? Safe travel, Raymond.
Thank you.
Mr. Scott, man, look, I marvel your courage, and that is obviously saying the least of what anybody should be going through, like what you are going through. But I think your mom is absolutely proud that you were able to bring someone into this world that would fight for her on her behalf. But my question to you is, I don't know, is this coming from the fact that you are such a professional person that you cannot go both ways to criticize the judiciary system? But I will go on a limb to say I do not trust that judiciary system in our country. That same system orchestrated the removal of a associate justice, Cabinet Jane. All right. That is there. It happened under this administration. But why you keep saying that you still have confidence in the judicial system? It's just because is it because you are such a professional person? You want to believe in the institution? Are you believing in the institution, or you believe in its totality of the people that are actually guiding that institution? So I just want to know that.
Both. I'll say both, right? And thank you so much for your question. There are some rotten apples, right? There are people that have been compromised. I don't think the entire system was compromised for our process, right? Because there are a few times that the judge will reject something that we thought was just common sense, right? There's a call log, you bring someone in, and then the person said, "Oh, that's not my phone, that's this person's phone." And then we say to the judge, "Okay, we want to talk to that person." And then he rejected it, right? But when we went up to the Supreme Court, they overruled, and we were able to move forward, right? So even within those challenges that we had along the way, the justice system, there are areas there that we feel can be fair. As I said before, and as I've been out here, crying out and saying this thing has been so unfair for all this time, is if you said you have your charge, please let us defend ourselves, right? If you said you had beyond reasonable doubt, today they didn't prove it. Throughout the entire trial, they did not prove the beyond reasonable doubt, right? And the jurors, for some reason, didn't see that, or maybe they didn't understand. Maybe it should have been clarified for them. But beyond reasonable doubt, if a male DNA is there, that's a doubt. After their pathologist says there was no DNA, then he came back as a rebuttal and said he saw the DNA, but it wasn't critical, so he didn't speak of it. I mean, if we just talk about just that, But to come back to you, I still believe in the justice system of the Republic of Liberia. I do. Yes, I'm being professional. I'm hurt. You guys don't understand. I grew up in Gloria Musu Scott's house. Nights she would sit up and go through the books and prepare herself to go out there into the courtroom and fight for individuals that couldn't pay her $1. They couldn't pay her anything but thank you, Ma. They couldn't pay her anything. Some of the time they would bring us chicken, a live chicken, because they couldn't afford it. This is the woman that gave back so much to the country. And to see, I mean these guys, they follow through. They follow through. Wow. I mean, if you want to talk about emotions, that's what I'm feeling like. Wow, They masterminded the attack. They followed through with the attack. Some might say they weren't successful because my mother was the target, but they still killed our family member. And the day after, up until today's date, they've been torturing us in public. Wow. But I still believe.
Thank you. I think we're done, right? Okay, let's take
George.
Alfred.
No, I was
George.
No, it's me. I was
Man,
next.
I am you think
Yeah,
you want
You're next.
guys,
Kenny with the buying,
Right? George Alfred.
guys,
George,
you
see that Kenny with the buying here?
okay, no, guys, no, Alfred, don't do that, please, Alfred. We have to. Okay, so let's take
George,
George,
go ahead.
and then we'll take Alfred, and then we take Francis.
Oh,
ahead,
my
George.
brother, nice to see you again.
Thank you, sir.
Look, I want to say thank you for your courage.
Thank you, sir.
I just want to move a step further than what you said. You said you trust the judicial system of Liberia. I will go a little bit step further that I am proud of the judicial system in Liberia. Here's why. The reason I'm proud is I'm not proud because I'm looking at your mother. I'm not proud because I'm looking at anyone else. But I'm proud for the fact that our judicial system can convict a former Supreme Court judge. Let us sit with you for a minute.
No, I'm trying to understand it. Go ahead.
Yeah, why it is true that there's no case that is judged that people don't feel bad. Feelings are hurt. People are punished, sometimes fairly and sometimes unfairly. But for the fact that people can take the courage and say that even though your status is this high, this is what we believe happened, this is what should happen to you. I'm proud of that. But here's the contrast to that. I'm a little bit frustrated that people are trying to make this a political thing instead of being a judicial thing. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily you, but I'm saying people are saying that, oh, when the government changes, Joe Barker government, on a Joe Barker government, and the case is going to. I just want to admonish Liberians. What we should be pursuing is justice.
Absolutely.
If it is true that that incident took place without any outside influence, those people who are convicted should remain convicted, and there should be no pardon. If they did not partake in that murder, we want it to be free effectively and immediately. But while we stand at that, you don't know, I don't know. So we'll have to leave it to the judicial system to adjudicate what really happened and find.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm
emotional as well.
Yeah. You seem to be a logical guy, right? And you know, with the engineering background, you know, you have that kind of mindset, right? Would you say in the court, right, if someone is representing or your family, those members were fighting for their lives, the prosecuting lawyer visits the jurors, would you say it's fair to dismiss the case? Why to even have any contact? Would you say it's fair to maybe remove the entire team of jurors and bring in the new jurors onto the team? Would you say that's fair? Like, if you really, you know, because again, you're a very reasonable man and you're a logical thinker, right? And those were the people that contributed to what happened today.
Okay, so look, here's the thing, and I just want to disabuse the minds of people who are listening to us, that when in a case where jurors are allegedly, interfere with, right? They usually change all of them, right? Because they don't want to keep them in place because they feel that the seed has been planted amongst them could germinate, right? So that would be a favorable outcome for the person who interfere with them. So it's logical that they are changed. So what was done, if it was done, is the right thing to do. That's the first thing. The second thing is that prosecutor who had a contact with those people, he should be penalized according to their standards, right? The bar standard set to
Okay, so let me just come in with this. I keep hearing.
Can I just finish, please,
Yeah.
Nelson?
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is that I completely agree with you, and if I were you, I would say the same thing. And I'm not here being a hero or anything. I'm really in prayers with you. I hope this comes out better for you guys. The only thing that I have is that I'm a guy who is concerned with the human condition. And I want to make sure that justice is served in any way. And if people are saying that it's because of this government that these people were found guilty, I will ask you the fact, this government has lost power. Everyone knows they are going out. Why did they still find these people guilty? When they are already lost power and they are going, why would the juror or whoever is finding them guilty, why would they still continue to find them guilty even though this government is out, it's powerless, it's useless right now? So these are the things that we need to look at and try to find. No, it's okay. Yeah. I understand. And I'm very sorry, man, for what's going on with you. If I were you, I don't know what I would have, even the courage, to speak, to people or to be logical, as you are right now. I think you are even logical. That's why my friend there asked you why you still believe in the judicial system. You know what I mean? When it's persecuting in this way and you feel it's unfair, right? But it's good. I like your strength. I wish I was like you, but look, certainly I'm not you. So thank you so much for your courage. Let's keep fighting for justice. And that's why we should always look at justice, whichever way it falls. That's why when Nelson showed the picture of the lady at the Supreme Court, her face was covered. It doesn't see people. It doesn't see position. It doesn't see what you've done in society before, but what you've done of which you are there. That's what it looks at. Yeah. So thank you so much, my brother. May God continue to guide you and protect you and your family, and I hope the best for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let me
know that baby need a facelift.
So yeah, let me just come in with 2 quick points here. So the first one is I keep hearing the person who interfered or the person who interacted with the judges and so forth. So that's Councillor Unity Twan. He's the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia. And he was involved with this case because, remember now, it is the Republic of Liberia versus Councillor Gloria Musu Scott. So the Solicitor General is the chief prosecutor of the Republic of Liberia. So that's why he was involved. But now when it came up when it happened that he went overnight and interacted with the jurors, then the defense counsel then raised the issue, and then that's how he was changed. He was removed from that entire case. And then the second thing I want to come in with is the form of trial. It's not a bench trial. In the bench trial, you have the how do you call them? The judges, all right. Those associate justices, like you have Kabina Jana and all of those people. It is those legal people, the people who have the legal understanding that will be making decision in this particular case. But in the case of a jury trial, there are people who have no understanding of the law. They are not legal practitioners. No, they are just selected to come and use common sense and be able to analyze, compare the arguments or pieces of evidence provided by both the defense and the prosecution and be able to come up with a judgment on that. That's why even before they went to the deliberation room and all of that, the judge had to charge them. The judge had to tell them this and that is what you should look up for before coming up with a ruling of what have you. And I just thought to throw that quick point in. Let's take I mean, maybe we'll squeeze you in, but let's take Alfred and Francis. I see their hands out.
Yeah, before I ask my brother the question, my brother George was speaking. If this case was just a different scenario of a debate we have here, my response to judge tonight would have been, very, very, very harsh tone. But having said that, I'm not going to go to that. But let me just ask my brother this question.
You can go ahead. I'll be here to answer.
I believe you have some knowledge when it comes to the law. For me, I'm not a lawyer. I have not been there before. I'm a politician. All right. So I'd like to ask you the question: What is the procedural aspect of the sequestration of jurors?
No. Please come again. My man, listen. Alfred.
Because I believe those people who are sequestered.
No way. Bring that thing down small. Not only all our own said they're listening to this, we get our people in the way in Margibi County across the country that are listening to this. So break it down small.
Okay, my brother, the question I ask you, what the law they get on the book, the people then when I know nothing, I come sit down the case to talk about the case. What the law say when you put in one side, because the law, I believe the law say that when you bring the people not part of the case at all, they coming to sit down and make common sense to say, okay, to tell the judge, say, okay, the person here wrong, the person here right, the person has to be here, the person not do, the person not do that. What the law say about that people there? Do they keep them somewhere and nobody else will see them and also read newspaper and all of that? Who's supposed to go to see them? That's the question I'm asking you.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Because you say here that the Solicitor General interfere with them.
Yes.
So that means there was a foul play. That means there was a compromise.
Right.
Doing that. Because we know already in our country, the issue of corruption is an epidemic in our country. So
but then after you ask your question and you answer your question,
that's what I was thinking.
Because you're asking for what is it that's not supposed to be done in line with the law, and then but you came back to say that according to the law, people are not supposed to interact. And you're right. The jurors, the reason why they can keep their people somewhere is for nobody to go there to even interact with them. So that it can influence, so that I can change to say, oh, they think the person tough, and so
I that question. He's someone break the thing down.
But you finish what I want. Let's wrap.
But he still want to hear, bro. He still want to hear, bro. Scott's
yeah, bro, Scott.
Well, thank you so much, and nice and good to meet you, sir. Yes, you did answer the question. Again, I'm about logic, right? And in anything, if someone who's deciding, who's going to make a decision for someone's future, right, their well-being, if they will go to jail for the rest of their lives, there's a place in that building that they're supposed to be kept and not interfere with from both sides, right? Because if that's the case, then all of our lawyers should have been visiting them too at nighttime. All of us supposed to, maybe we go to the next door club and we celebrate with them, right? The purpose for them being there is so that they are not contaminated. And this counselor Nyenti, he did that multiple times.
Okay. Thank you. Francis, you want to come in? You have a question?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I'm just gonna look at it from this way. Two things I want to point out. One, this particular case should have been mistrial should have been called immediately.
Absolutely.
When the Solicitor General was caught visiting the juror, because one, we don't even know how many times he's been there.
Absolutely.
Because somebody can continue to continuously visit the juror. If he was never caught, nobody will know about this. So we don't know how many times it happened. I'm not here to say, the defendant are guilty or not guilty. That's not my point. Justice should be served. Justice should be blind. But the moment that happened, a mistrial should have been called, or the entire jury panel should have been dismissed and gone through a new process because they were tinted already.
Yes.
It's like eating poisoned meat and hoping not to die.
Yes.
You don't know which part of the meat the poison touched, so you throw everything out and get new meat. So
we
that
did
should
ask.
have even gone. I'm sorry.
Sorry, sir. I'm sorry. We did ask the judge to dismiss the case because of that. He refused.
Right.
He said
No,
He
just
suspended
looking
the
at
gentleman.
just
Go ahead.
looking at some of the things that are played in this case here. From then, the next issue with this case, the defendant had to go to the Supreme Court to overrule the judge's decision about not calling key witnesses. That also showed that that judge was compromised. So a lot of these things, it created distrust in our justice system. Yes, we want to believe in our justice system, but the people that are running the system, what can we do? You see?
Thank you.
So the next thing to just address one thing that Judge said, he talked about how can this be politicized when this government is used as out of power. Remember, this case ended. Technically, it has ended, even though they're going to push for to go to the Supreme Court, but it ended during this administration. So if there were any threat made to the lives of those jurors, it can be realized now if they are voted contrary to what the government wanted. So yes, the government is still in power. So it can be politicized. It can be stated that there's a possible threat to the juror that made it vote the way they voted. So we can't say the government is outgoing and is useless. There's nothing that can be done. The case ended today, and this government is in power until January 22nd. So that can come into play. I'm not saying that's what they were threatening, but the case should have been thrown out the day they found out that that particular Solicitor General was going there, and he should be disbarred. Because these people, you are dealing with people's lives. You don't play with that. He should be disbarred, and that case should have been thrown out. But I'm glad you guys are pushing to go to the justice, the Supreme Court, because we don't know guilty or not guilty. That's not my place here.
Right.
But we want the right thing to be done.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. I think it was more of a comment from Francis.
Yes. There was no question. No.
Yeah. So, Amy, you want to just jump in quickly? Then we.
Yeah, I just wanted to address something that my brother just said. He said that he's actually proud of the judicial system in our country because we believe that it cannot convict someone of a higher status, right? Well, George, even though we want that to happen, we want the justice to be blind, but we don't want some innocent person to be convicted because you want to prove a point. We want you to convict someone of a higher status because they did the crime.
Right.
Not because you're trying to prove a point. Everything that happened in this case, everyone may want to be all, diplomatic about it, but I'm not a law student, I'm not a lawyer, but I know she's innocent from the way everything is going. Yes, George, I said she's innocent. From the way everything is going.
Go take her from prison.
I don't have
They
to.
will finish.
Don't interrupt me.
Do not preempt.
Guys, let's do this.
I let you talk. Let me talk. Don't interrupt me.
Listen, guys, let's do this.
This is your second time talking.
Okay.
No, guys,
like I was saying,
I mean, just conclude so we take few calls.
Like I was saying, she is innocent. If you're not hiding anything, all of these crooked little thing that is going on, you won't have problem. The so-called judge that is there, you won't have problem to call it out. And when the defense lawyer call it out, you won't have problem to be saying no. If you know this woman is shooting innocent, what are you hiding? Who sees a phone number and just say, oh, it's not mine because it's for someone else? Okay, you can go. This is a murder trial, for goodness sake. If this was your family, you won't be sitting there talking about, because they convicted.
Okay.
So
Emmy, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Folks, we have to go to the lines.
Looking at it
We
from
have to
a
go to the
human
lines.
point, you're looking at it from a party point.
Thank you,
That's
Emmy.
disgusting.
Thanks a lot, Emmy. Let's go to the lines and take a few calls. Folks out there who have been following the show, you can contribute now. We're going to take 10 calls, and then we wrap up for tonight. I'll have to pin the WhatsApp line, the WhatsApp number up here, so that those of you wanting to participate from here, you can make your input. Okay, so the WhatsApp number is rolling there. Then you can call us up on 0555-101075, 0555-101075. And you'll be live on the program tonight. This is the late night show. We're live across the Spoon network and other frequencies across the country. Let's take our first call here tonight. Let me make sure that we're set for the WhatsApp. Okay. So let's take our first call from the local line. Hello. Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. You're live. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Thomas Mova. I joined you from a car well there.
Thomas, please go ahead quickly, sir.
I just listened to Mr. Scott. He is saying that he trusts the justice system because he is looking from the standpoint which is what has said this country. For everyone, though, even the unborn baby in Liberia, so that there is no justice in Liberia.
Okay.
There is no justice in Liberia. If there were justice, those three guys that died from Musu, passing around free.
Thank you.
If there were justice, princess people that died passing around. There is no justice in Liberia.
Thank
So
you,
we
sir.
know that.
Let's hold you there.
Shopping as a go-to again.
Let's hold you there and take this person. Hello, you're live from the WhatsApp line.
Good morning, Nelson. How are you?
Yes, sir. Let's hear you. You're live.
I'm fine. Nelson, this is Godwin. I'm calling you from Philadelphia. I'm following the discussion and I've been following the case. And I think for the latter stage of this case, I think I listened to Mr. Scott talking about a rebuttal witness. I don't know which side called in for a rebuttal witness, Mr. Scott. And I think there was still doubts in the mind of the court. And looking at the doubts in that case at other stages of the case, and looking at the rebuttal witness, I think it was the prosecution that called for a rebuttal witness, or I think the defense counsel.
Yes, it was a prosecution.
And looking at the prosecutor, the SG visiting the jurors overnight, and if the defense counsel filed a motion and the judge granted said motion for the SG to be removed from the case, I think the defense counsel should have also filed a motion where the entire juror was supposed to be disbarred.
Thank you.
I mean, but continuing with the juror, I think it wasn't fair on the part of the defense counsel.
Thank you.
So I mean, in the entire case, the juror was compromised.
Thank you.
It was definitely compromised because we don't know what was the interaction with the jurors and the SG at the time.
Thank you, sir.
So I mean,
thank you. Let's hold you there, Godwin.
was
Let's hold you
compromised.
there and take others. We have the lines are very jammed. Good morning, sir. On the local line.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, my brother. And good morning to the fellow panelists.
Okay.
Yeah, let me tell you, Brother Scott, the entire Liberians are in key. They are following this case with key attention.
Okay, you want to say a name and where you calling from, sir?
I'm sorry. I'm Joe Robert, and I'm phoning from Kingshill, Liberia.
Okay, it's good to have you on the show tonight, sir. Welcome. Oh, we lost him. So let's try to take a call from this line. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Go ahead quickly. Let's hear you.
I'm just calling from the Ralphie Howie.
Yes.
Yeah, you see, in a good matter, that has juror before.
You served as juror before.
Yeah, and I promise in my life, never, ever will I ever serve as juror again.
Why?
Reason is just simple. Converting your friend to go to prison. Sometimes we will play with two people, the government and the defendant. The government always want to win a case. It happened with Saint Darby case. When the plantation got burned, they carried the people to the court in Bombing. I drew on that case. From that day, I resigned. Never in my life will I serve as juror again in this country.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's take this call from the WhatsApp line. Hello. Sorry, just hold on a bit. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. Let's hear you quickly.
My name is Sam Brown. I just want to comment on one of the panelists' statement. When we talk about the the judiciary, our judiciary system,
Okay.
it is interesting because the Gloria Musu Scott was put in jail today, so they consider it to be our system is credible. I said no. Manuel Barton died. They still there. No investigation. Up to now, the family have not heard anything concerning that. Abba died. The woman and the two auditors, they went. And other deaths that have been happening, they are not being investigation. We have been still thinking what really happened to these people. We've been waiting. But this issue now, he say, this is a clear indication that our judicial system is credible. George need to be careful when he addressing things when he addressing issue on the platform.
Okay. Thank you.
Just like you regularly say, we are listening. Look, if you are citizen, you know that we are diehard. We got the diehard citizen. Then they have the reaction. Look, be careful how you say things. Okay. Your analysis is always opposite. I monitor you all the time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Think and say it. George,
Thank you.
That
Thank
comes
you.
to you particularly.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go after the issues. Let's not be personal about the issues. Let's take this person. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Kole.
Yes, sir. You're live. Let's hear you. You're live on the show.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Kole. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. You're live on the show. Let's hear your name and where you're calling from. Can you turn down the volume of the gadget you're using to monitor the show, please?
Sorry about that. Yeah, this is James Calapine. I'm calling from Connecticut.
Okay.
I just wanted to compare three things.
Okay.
It's Councillor Musu Scott, the gentleman on your panel, George, and then looking at the process that took place.
Mm-hmm.
We have to, this is how Liberians are. When it's happening to you, they always say, oh yes. To him, George think today, it is a big person that have been convicted. That's all glory that they should be laughing about. And we can see that he's coming from a background of CDC, trying to convict an innocent person. And we look at the process that took place where the prosecutor compromised. This case should have been contained. I mean, should have been thrown out. And we have to think, Liberians all the time, when it's not us, we are happy. But when it's us, then we say, oh, wow, now it's not fair.
Okay.
It's not fair to the next person. It's not fair to you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Let's go ahead and take this person here. We take the last four calls and then we wrap up. Hello.
Yeah, and the panelists go evening. Morning.
Yeah, go ahead. You're live on the show.
So my name is Thomas Kuma and I call from Upper Kawe.
Thomas, let's hear you.
All right. So I kind of baffled on what happened at the court. The first here is that we read the subpoena.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm keen to that. The subpoena was clear that Jefferson Kochi should appear with Vadi Tere. And with the absence of Vadi Tere, yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah. I'm saying I'm keen on the issue of the subpoena that was read or given. The subpoena was clear that Jefferson Kochi should have appeared in court with Vadi Tere, the living body. I have not heard the point where Vadi Tere was in a court. But then today, she's verdict. I think this is unfair. Is the court telling us they made a mistake with that subpoena? So where is the validity? If validity cannot be produced, why you want to convict somebody? Because you are part and parcel of the whole case.
Okay.
Valitella did go to court.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's give the callers a chance. Once they are done, we'll come back. We'll certainly have the time where we can come back and respond to some of what they'll say. But go ahead, caller. You're live.
Yes, good morning. I'm calling to make an import on the show.
Okay.
So I think that we need a good government that will strengthen our justice system. Our justice system is broken. If we have a good justice system that will hold our lawyers responsible for their verdicts or their cases that they will be prosecuting, trust me, everybody will be straightforward. Why would a judge have communication or any connection with the jury? It's not supposed to be so. So I think we need a good justice system. We need a good government that everybody will be held responsible for whatever they are doing in that country. And everybody will have just fair justice. Not for where you are, where you come from, who you are in the country, the wealth you have. It shouldn't be like that.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. We take this person. Hello. Hello. Hello, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. You're live.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me?
You are live, sir. You are audible enough. Go ahead, please.
Yes. My conflict with the whole situation here. This lady here, she's a judge. She's a judge. And
your audio is not coming in right. You are breaking in. Can you? Hello, are you there? Hello. Wow, there seems to be an issue here. So we'll take this. We're replacing it for this last call. Hello.
good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. You're live.
Hey, quick question here, though. I'm sorry, I wasn't following you throughout the day. Just got on and saw your show. Now, did the Justice Department in Monrovia state the motive for former Justice Scott killing her daughter?
You mean the Justice? You mean the Justice Department?
They couldn't provide the motive. No, they couldn't provide the motive of
the motive
why it happened
for killing the little girl, because there must be a motive.
Okay, so Mr. Scott is telling you that they didn't provide the motive, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Okay, so we'll take the last call from WhatsApp, and then we'll take two more calls from our local lines. The 0555-101075. The last call from the WhatsApp line. You are live. Let's hear you.
Hello, you guys hear me now?
Okay, you're much better. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, first of all, my problem here is this lady have a title, and we have to respect her title as a judge. They have no evidence of fact relating on her that she's guilty. She first had to be home, and they have to have facts relevant enough to have her in prison for this length of time while she have her lawyers representing her. So if they want to go by the law, she has to be first in order to exercise what they are doing to her. Because what they are doing to her right now is against the law. They are penalizing her of something that they have no facts to prove that she did it or not. And
okay, so
to just make more
so
go ahead.
Yeah, so let me just come in with a quick one there. So there are three crimes associated with this.
Okay.
You have murder, criminal conspiracy, and providing false alarm. Those are the three crimes associated with this. The first one is capital offense, which has to do with murder. is non-bailable.
Okay.
All right. Under our law, murder is non-bailable. So, for example, somebody accuse you, they say, "Oh, Mr. Scott, this, that, and while they're going through the legal process, nobody can stay in your point court for you to go to your hall and sit down. You'll be beyond bars while they carry on the trial because it's non-bailable." Are you there, sir?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm listening to you very well.
Okay.
Now, but if the Constitution and those who exercise in the law, knowing that this lady understands the law, she knows how the laws work. So she's not just one of those common people who you can just violate all rights. They have not pinpointed anything. It's an allegation for which they have no evidence to show that she had committed certain crime. And when those points have not been shown out, there should be a vowed or a veiled line that would demarcate her right until
Nelson, can you take another caller?
To start.
No, Josh, don't interrupt, please. Let's respect our caller.
Nothing but let the man know under the law, the title doesn't matter.
Yes.
He should know that. He should know that.
No,
You should know that.
guys, don't do this. Please, can we all mute? Can you all just mute your microphone?
wasting our time
Let's
here.
give our caller the time. Okay, so sir, yes. So all of what's happening now is in the confines of the law with respect to the proceedings and all of that. Yeah. And I want you to know that Councillor Scott herself is a legal practitioner. All right. So I don't think she will allow anybody to just infringe on her right, especially in the case where you're talking about and stuff like that. You know, you are dealing with a legal person as well. So,
I disagree with that, Nelson.
And I understand where you're coming from, that based on her title, based on her services to the country, there should be some preferential treatment, not being treated like any other citizen of the country, considering that she served as Chief Justice of the country, she served as Justice Minister, she served as Senator in different capacities. But again, this is where we are. And I want to appreciate you for your concerns, your contribution to the show. Thanks a whole lot.
Nelson, just a quick one.
I'm coming, George. Yeah, I'm coming, George.
Okay.
Are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, so I want to say thanks for your contribution. We appreciate you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay. So I think we have to now move on.
Nelson, just a point of education, please. Can I just ingest something quickly?
Okay, you want to do that as part of your closing? Because
no problem whatsoever. Yeah. So look, I just want to admonish the listeners and those of us here. Sorry, I'm slowing my voice, and I took cold for me. The thing is that Judy Bryant, our former, let's say, president, went to prison in Liberia. The law does not see title. It does not see how long you serve us. It does not see anything.
And I will get
if you do wrong, you will go to prison. If now George Weah is audited and is found to be capable of doing something wrong, I will escort him to prison. I will hold a bag to take him there. He will go. So don't come here and think that if you have been doing good and you do one bad thing, we say, no, go home. No, you will go to prison. That's what the law says. So let people not be carried away by title or anything. We want justice in the case. And if this lady, the former Chief Justice, is innocent, she should be set free. But that has to be done through the law. And that's what we are waiting for. We're going to make sure. That's why there is another redress after this guilt verdict. They can go to the Supreme Court. They can go to the higher court to ask for a redress. And that will be given to them. And that's what we want to see. We want to make sure that all the processes are exhausted before anything can happen, like permanently a decision is made. So this is what it is. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
So just to close up, I want to thank you guys.
But you already are closing.
I'm traveling. I'm en route. I will come to Liberia.
Where Apple Jao? What can I? You know, I don't know where
brother.
This thing yet.
Yeah, my brother.
You've been waiting Apple Jao for hours now. You said nothing to him.
I hope we can meet one day. I really like you as a person. And look, I pray, I hope that your mother is set free if she's guilty. If she's not
So
guilty,
she's guilty? Wow.
yeah, she should
That's
be
a
set
true
free.
man you just
Because
spoke there.
look, we want a Liberia where justice is the hallmark of the day. Justice is what serves us. Justice should be what we eat, what we drink.
Absolutely.
You know, it should be
agree.
that. So thank you
Thanks a
so
lot.
much, and I want to thank you guys tonight. I appreciate it.
My man George, go, man. Don't go intellectual last this thing yet. Don't intellectual last this thing for us. Go.
Alfred, let's hear your closing.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
say
guys.
this.
I'm
Let me
sorry.
say
No,
this.
sorry. Sorry. Let's give our guest the time to do his closing. Anything he wants to say, in closing, and maybe, then he can, yeah.
So thank you again. Thank you to the Liberian people in Liberia and around the world. We're grateful for all the support we received. We're heartbroken today, but it hasn't killed our fire. We knew what we were going up against. We're taking on the Republic of Liberia, or at least the high-level people who are behind this thing and are pushing it and are using the country's resources against us. But we still have fight in us, and we're still fighting. But thank you to everyone all across the board, and I'm just grateful that Nelson and the rest of the panelists allowed me to join the show and have this discussion. My family is innocent. The killer is still out there. It's been established that it was a male present, and we will find justice for Chalo. The individuals, the family members that are right now sitting in jail are the victims. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Scott, for showing up here. We appreciate you, and you're always welcome here on this platform. Thanks a whole lot. Okay.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
Okay, so then we're gonna move to Alfred to do his closing.
Well, Nelson, thank you so much. It's kind of disheartening, when people like George will come on this show here and try to intellectualize a very serious matter that's taking place in our country. He try to intellectualize it. We're not doing theory here, my brother. This is pragmatic. We have to be practical with ourselves. Gotta be honest, all right? Well, we have to call a spade, right? Whether Aaron Thomas Jr. was killed in our country, what happened to the case? What happened to that case? A former president's son was killed in our country. The George Weah government failed to adjudicate that case. And I'm even talking about the three missing boys where you have Moses passing around in a country and nothing happening to him. Then you can't only show his son and say, we be justice when it should not be somebody of high stature in that judge. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? No, I don't want to be so emotional to turn the whole thing to you. But let me just say what I gotta say. Let me go back to the serious thing we're talking here. Joseph Imam Boakai. All right. Joseph Imam Boakai is going to come back come January 22nd. All those people who feel that they can bamboozle our country and steal from our country and walk away free. Honor the Joseph Imam Boakai government. We will make sure we put the right things in place. And I just appreciate the president that he's listening to us. This generation will have no place for corruption. And we believe that Joseph Imam Boakai will be that fatherly leader who's going to set the pace for the next generation to come for Liberia. Thank you so much, Johnson, for having me on the show.
Thank you, Lee Kuan Yew. Thank you. Let's take Francis. Francis, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you guys. So for me, I just want to focus on the educational aspect. Joseph Imam Boakai should definitely pay close attention to that. Our schools are failing. I do not to push anything, but I do my little shows every now and then where I ask questions, and I see that very intelligent folks in Liberia. I'm even increasing the toughness of the question now because people keep to be answering the question. But they should focus on the educational structure of our country because our country should be able to compete with the rest of folks in Africa. Not just only reading the book, but the practical aspect of education, especially our science, our STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. You can't just teach the theoretical part and leave the practical part of it. And that's what the people actually take into the field, into their daily lives. So there should be laboratories for our chemists and our biologists major to be able to practice. There should be computer labs for our tech students and things like that. This should be available to public schools, government school students, not to the top of the line, not the elite people that pay 10,000 USD a year or 7,000 USD a year at school, because those people, they are not enough to make our country go forward for generations to come. There are thousands of students in public school and other private schools that are very, very underserved, and our teachers need to be well paid. You talk about institutions that are failing. Our police, they're not respected because they don't get paid. Once you pay the police right, you will find people of high educational background that will want to be police officers. But now we just take anybody and put them in uniform because we need people to serve in the police. And those people, they're not coming there because they know what they're supposed to do. A civil servant, you're supposed to say, sir and ma'am, when you speak to a Liberian citizen, because those are the people that pay your salary. You don't treat them as though that they work for you. And that's what's happening now. So I hope Joseph Barker will come in and actually teach people, like he said today, when you come to government, you come to serve. And who are you serving? The people. So you give them the respect that they are due, not the other way around. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Turi, 1 minute quickly.
So why I appreciate some of George's position tonight. Like, you test the strength of the judicial system when the biggest, the baddest, the most influential, the richest among us are held accountable for for violating or laws, or then you know exactly that the system is working, right? I'm for all of that, but that also come on the backdrop that I personally do not think our judicial system is up there. I don't think it's capable of rendering a full due process, and that's something that we could agree and disagree on. But I know for a fact people influencing our country can actually make the law to work on their side. It has happened from businesses and people with money, people with influence. None of us can deny that here, including George, my brother. If that's the new Liberia that we all aspire to have, I'm for all of that. But until we can get to that point, I don't think we are there yet. But it's possible that we can and we will get there at some point, but we're not there yet. But as far as JMB, I am highly optimistic with absolute no pre-reservation. Thank you very much. I really think this old man get his head in the right place. I really believe that, because I've said this throughout the campaign process, and I'm gonna go back again to reiterate on those facts. Where is the threat? Where is the threat? Where do you think they man? What kind of ambition Omer Baga get to corrupt any money in our country? Where you get that money to go enjoy? Where?
Dubai? You thinking about drinking Hennessy SO?
Dubai you get the money to go enjoy, or where next? So I mean, at the end of the day, when we're doing risk assessment in business, in crime, like and that actually I'll close on this. Gloria Scott, like killing that lady, what I want to do for? Where's the motivation?
What's the motive?
You know what I mean? Where's the motive? What does that gonna do for her? Right? So I mean, like, sometimes I know very well we're gonna give the system due course. That will happen, obviously. I think is a lesson that we all should do. And she have a very good support system. Her son can take time to come on here and propagate for her. That's That is a support that a lot of other people in Liberia don't have. So she definitely in the right place, and her son is doing. I mean, he definitely speaks like a lawyer. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's a lawyer himself, or at least they say when you still around the river, you might not tend to fish, but you can definitely smell like one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emmy.
Well said, Teray. Definitely smell like fish. I know that's right. But yeah, like President Boakai, that's what I would be calling him now, right? He almost there. I was, like we said today, I was impressed when I heard that interview, just for one fact that he still sounds like he on the campaign trail. So what that tells me is that he wasn't just saying those things because he wanted my support or everybody else that stood in line fighting for those votes to be protected. He meant what he said, and he still is saying it even after you gave him the votes. So that's a good thing. With like Councillor Gloria Musu Scott, we do, like my brother just said, we do want a system, a country that, yeah, when President we found out that he did steal our money, giving a due process, fair trial, he should be held accountable. It shouldn't be glaring. Everything showing the proofs, the evidence are there. And then you say, oh, President Weah is not guilty. That's where we say, oh, the system is not fair. But where we saying that you said President Weah taking this money, but when President Weah came in, he had more than that. So how could he have taken this money? You know, like everything that you're saying about this man does not make sense. Then at the end of the day, you say President Weah is guilty, and we say, "Yay, the justice is good." No, that's not what we want. We want a fair trial. We want a due process. We want something not where in this case. You've seen everything this defense lawyer put through. The judge is saying no to it. Even think that somebody come with a phone number that does not match their name on something, you said no. They can't call that person on something to do with. When the person said this, you said no. A lawyer going visiting the juror, that whole bench supposed to be dismissed, and a whole juror pick supposed to be some. You didn't do it. Even though the defense lawyer called for it, you refuse. And you come in and tell us, and you can't even give us a motive for the woman, and there's other old people that can't even walk right, killing this strong girl. For what reason? Maybe they have some kind of $1 million insurance on her. You got to let us know. Why did they do it? None of that. You just get her and say, oh, yeah, she's guilty out of nowhere. And you say, oh, we should rejoice that, oh, our system can put a big person in jail. No, that's not how we want it. We want it fair, free, and fair. That's how we want it. We don't just want to do it because we want to have a need, like, oh, Liberia put a big person in jail. That would not be right. I don't think any of us want that to happen to us. The same way we don't want it happening to the innocent people. I mean, the common people, we don't want it happening to the big people either. So we should use our common sense in this case. And no, we don't have to be lawyers. Just common sense will tell you that something is not right somewhere, and it doesn't have to be from our house or somebody else's something before we know that something is wrong somewhere. We need to have that humanity and take the politics out of it. That's what I wanted to say. And thank you, Liberian people. Your president will be home soon, and the work will start from there. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I mean, the law is reasoning. The law is reasoning. It's not common sense. Law is reasoning.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
You know, I just want to point
out.
Moba,
how did you adjust this camera?
You can see me? Everybody see me?
Look, guys. On a serious note, you guys are.
You need to come back. When you come back, and you will adjust.
You guys are seriously going against our rule here tonight. I see lots of face caps on. It shouldn't be. Again, we set the standard. We should live by it. Please.
Yeah, Nelson, they play too cool. I mean, I beg you, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, but my guys, some African hat. To really, the way you trying the hat, yeah, trying it that you want to in the air. There you go.
That's what we need to talk about that hat situation. We need to talk about it.
So,
I'm not
So,
with it.
you know,
That's
there's
easy.
a lot of
So hot. I'm a hot guy. I can barely move without hat. To be quite honest, I got so much hat. Look, anybody that know me know I
You
wear
can
hat.
see George face.
No,
Look at George face. He got a hat on,
listen,
but you can still see his face.
I
Why
got
do you
hat
have a problem with
everywhere.
that?
Everywhere in my room. Look, you see that, Nancy?
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
Nancy, you see?
I don't hear thank you.
So hot here. Look. Nancy, you see?
But Josh, sorry, Ture,
So
why you
hot.
carry
Look,
all
you
the
see?
hat?
So hot.
No,
It
no,
gets
but
you.
no, Ture, something is not right about you and this hat thing.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Why would you have?
Look, it all
Just for the
the
short
place
term,
here.
Ture has shown us.
Look, you see, right? Look, you see?
Over
I
50
go
hats
I
just
go
from
right,
the
I go
left,
there, I
right.
get hat everywhere.
Hey, man, Ture, something is not right about you, man. And again, folks,
You see, right? I know one everywhere.
yeah, everywhere. So please, guys, from tomorrow, if you go wear sweater, put something. I can call that thing having game on your head and come. But please, we're not doing the face cap thing. We gotta keep it, keep up to the standard. We've had a lot of people leave the show before because they didn't have it on, because they had cap on, rather. So let's keep it at that.
Man, Nancy, I seen you Afro man picture. Lee Kunye.
Lee Kunye, the man said Lee Kuan Yew, but somebody say Alfred and Lee Kuan Yew resemble. Alfred, you need to do martial arts.
I'm a black African man. I'm an Asian man. We can never be resembled.
But the person say you and Lee Kuan Yew resemble. What about real?
I mean, myself.
I want to say thank you, but Mama, it's really not forced that you close tonight because you are the cool moderator here alongside Amy. So,
Exactly.
yeah, it's really not forced to have you close. Mama, I want to say thank you, man.
So because I come on with that, I will not give my own view on it.
Yeah, Mama, thanks for coming, man. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay, Mama, take 20 seconds. Take 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Man, look, no, actually, when we're speaking on a serious matter, right, I guess some other chance that we speak our mind on the issues, more especially Musu Scott case. You know, there are a lot of things keep coming in my head when I think about the whole case issues, about the whole murder, right? According to what we heard, that like the girl was murdered by all the people, the staff. There was NN check up that went on all the people on the the so-called perpetrator that the guy called mad because the way that girl got stabbed, right? If anybody who get anybody who knife in their hand, even when you cut it something, you get a scar or on your finger or in your palm. There was any report on that. That's all the questions. And when it comes to the DNA aspect, I believe that the case can be revisited by the incoming government. And yes, it can be revisited and they can bring some evidence, more especially the DNA aspect alone can solve the case. They will call the both party to do DNA. And the DNA, they both they both party did, right? They will go and compare the both of them and see, and then they bring the both people to do the DNA and see who DNA. My DNA can lie. You can take my DNA and give it to somebody. So I think all those aspects and all those puzzle putting together can solve the case. Perfectly that nobody will come here and say, okay, you know what, the person lie on the person, the person lie on the person. So it's the whole case here. It just lot about. End of the day, we want justice for everybody, even every Liberians. We need justice for everybody. We don't want people to say the person do it because you're part of the government. And our whole jury system, like my brother said, that whole jury, they need to be dismissed. Even before they get a new council, they can bring new jury in. That's what they need to do. In America, yeah, I can lie to you right here. I sent me a letter 2 different times to go sit on the jury bench. Guess what? They put out going, I even know them. I even know the lawyer. I even know nobody. I know nobody. That's in my letter. They say, my man, yeah, we need to so and so cool. You got to go there to go sit as a jury. That's it. Even the people are going there too. All are going together, right? We know
that's how jurors should be selected. But again, I want to say thank you, Mama.
No. I say but in like how they call it the same jury, right? The
Yeah,
both
they are.
are
Yeah, they are jurors. They are jurors.
who's the other then?
He's agreeing with you, Moba. He's agreeing with you.
The
Yeah,
court can
that's what I'm
select
saying.
them, and then the defense and the
I know, yeah.
prosecutor can
Let me
choose.
conclude
Yeah.
now. Just telling me, let me conclude. You just keep cutting me over. Let me conclude. I beg
Yeah,
you.
go ahead, Moba.
So end of the day, right? When I send my letter, I go in there, I know nobody there, right? Even the people that committed the crimes or whatsoever, and I know none of them, I know that none of them living. I don't go to my account. I go in, listen to the case and make my decision based on that case. But look at Labrador small that. Even the people, all of them, majority of the people in poverty, much better they put the court to that jury, they get their money. They get their money to go lie on that woman today.
No,
So end of
again,
the day,
no,
that's it.
Moba, listen, with Moba, we on
That's
radio.
another mental health.
I thought my own to your
I
own.
mean, yeah,
I thought my own to your own. Then what they gonna be cutting me off? What people? Well, now let's see you or see you talking. Nobody can say. Let me talk my own to your own. But let me
yeah,
talk my own.
but listen now.
This is not CEO show. Don't disrespect Nelson here. This is Nelson show.
No, I would disrespect
Nelson, you are just telling Raymond, yeah, they say Raymond bringing out a way bad thing. But Nelson, you have to.
But let me conclude.
Nelson,
I
living
can bring way bad things. But the point I was trying to make is, you know,
people to express themselves, right?
My man, no, let me tell you.
The case is over with. Let him go and express himself. That's his belief.
He said the lawyer visited the people 2-3 different times. You know how many times he was successful? You know how many times he was successful to convince those people?
The judge did not see that to dismiss that whole jury.
No, let me tell you. The whole case, let me conclude.
Thank you, Nelson.
No,
thank
man,
you,
don't
Nelson.
to me.
When the government lost
let me tell you, you know why they don't left the case hanging? You know why they don't left the case hanging?
They could lose that one there.
Yes.
Somebody
tell me so there. I was like, what?
Woman, that's
because
the one that can win.
Knew that when they leave their case hanging, and they knew government it will be a start over. So based on that, they were able to carry their own case on, and then go manipulate the whole system, and then they say the woman did, the woman died. Don't be doing anything. I will speak our mind. I will come on the show for elaborate people to hear what we want to say. Not joining and be lying to elaborate people here. That just be done. You just got to put a poor woman in prison and say the woman, the woman, what a both things done.
Thank you. Want to say thanks to everyone here tonight for your contribution.
Kill her own investment. Can you imagine that?
Nelson, free speech.
No one is suppressing free speech yet.
Wait now, Nelson.
No way.
Look at Maggie.
Maggie, where you coming
from?
Coming
later or wrapping up. You ain't talking nothing.
You put on me, let me address Nelson.
Nelson, put Maggie in the bar. Maggie not talking nothing yet today.
No, we're not saying that for the door.
But Nelson brought Maggie on there. He's surprised Maggie doing it. Hey,
exactly.
He's the one who can pull the button, right? I don't have any button here.
So okay, yeah, wait. Maggie, what you come to here? What you come for?
What you say, Maggie? What you say?
No, we're about to sit down here. Let's do Maggie talk on our kids here. No way.
Why Maggie give her? Maggie tell.
I beg you, please, man. I can't say hi. But again, Nancy, I beg you, I want to say something. Please don't put tension on my talk. I know it might not be.
No. That's the kind of guy prayer to me about to go to bed. We came 3.5 hours ago. 3.5 hours ago. We're not about to go
I came here for the Friday today.
No, Maggie.
And I just need
to
5 second stuff. Not 5 seconds, maybe 5 minutes.
President ain't gonna do it in the chat room.
You in the chat room. You for 4 hours.
Maggie,
thank you. I
want to say thanks. Maggie,
so you bring me on there, you can't tell me thanks.
She's right. You brought her on, so let her talk.
I brought her on. I carry her back.
Boy, why you got brother and lie me don't want to go to bed?
You brought
David rather my girl Maggie.
Don't say thank you. Don't say thank you. I just can't on. Let me talk. Don't say
red flag. When Maggie starts saying Nelson, don't sanction my talk. Now red flag.
So I want to say thanks to you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alfred. Thank you to Ray. Thank you, Francis. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks to you, Amy. Moba, thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate all of you guys. We look forward to having a great show tomorrow. Maggie, we hope that you can. We're looking forward to having you join us earlier tomorrow so we can have a great show. This is a running discussion. You can still weigh in your thoughts on it tomorrow. But for tonight, we're out of time. We gotta go. I'm Nelson Colette. Thanks to the entire team. The late night show will be back tomorrow. Until then, have for yourselves a good night and bye-bye for now.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO, Stan coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band.